Greetings and salutations from the Cinema Asylum podcast. Welcome back, guys. It has been a while since you guys have seen me. You've probably seen Matthew and Dylan.
I was going to say, you never saw me.
You've seen a lack of Dylan. And John's been doing a couple of videos, right?
Yeah, John was here.
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks since I was last on.
It's been 3 weeks since our last major episode.
One was for Easter Sunday, and the other was, I think last weekend I was with my family, and it was due to the eclipse. So.
Yeah, we didn't do it last week because of the eclipse.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Right on.
So over in this corner, we have Dylan, who is the, which expert are you?
I'm Dylan. I'm one of the 2 superhero and sci-fi experts. Don't introduce me. I can do it myself. I'm a grown boy.
In case you don't remember, I'm the indie and drama expert.
Paul Allen, the horror expert.
I am Matthew, the other superhero and sci-fi expert. I don't know.
No, I don't like that. I quit.
Boo. Boo.
Get him off stage.
Do you have any tomatoes?
Bring out the shepherd's
Anyone
No.
have any tomatoes?
No tomatoes.
You got some
Rotten lettuce?
I got some
Nice.
hamburger patties. Wait, what? No, why am I
I can
helping
work.
you?
I can work.
Why am I helping you?
Can I Dylan and Garrett, do I have permission to throw Grogu at Matthew?
Yes.
Oh crap! I put Grogu on the table.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Don't
We
aim for
left
the
him
eyes.
out. We left Grogu out this time.
My Grogu.
Reach.
He got in trouble.
Reach.
He got in trouble today. He ate all of our cookies from the top shelf again.
He ate my cat.
There he is.
But-
Anyways,
How
this is.
dare you remove Grogu in the first place?
I was using him to hold the curtain up so I can put the air conditioner on. Yeah, it's warm today.
It is pretty hot.
Yeah, holy crap.
83 here.
It finally feels like spring.
Yep.
Ugh.
It feels like summer.
No.
It's close.
It's like
close.
83, 84
It's
today.
10 off.
83.
It's gonna go. It's gonna go. Well, this isn't even gonna last long. It's
I know. It's
Oh,
gonna be.
thank God.
It's gonna be 100 soon.
Oh,
I
it's
can
gonna
I
be-
can easily see it being
in
100
5 days.
next
It's
month.
gonna be. In 5 days, it's probably gonna be 50 again.
Yeah.
So yes, this is the first of a 3-part episode we're doing on epic movies. Today it will be fantasy and historical. This is gonna be fun. Next week will be drama and horror. We're putting those two together because I feel like there's less of both.
You mean like epic drama?
Yeah, epic drama movies and epic horror movies. Drama, there's more than horror. I feel like horror only
Yeah.
has a few.
I can only think of a few that horror that like count in that category.
Yeah. And then the third week will be
I mean, there's a
sci-fi
few.
epics. So
But yeah.
that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you didn't see, we had a post go viral.
Tell us
So
about that.
viral, we need a vaccine.
Damn it. 206.
He really stuck it to him.
Shut the fuck. Oh, hey, that
We're gonna
that
go
reminds
down a
me.
rabbit hole.
That reminds me.
None of us are
Matthew
named
made a
Alice.
joke on Twitter. No. I sent something to you, and you made a joke about it, and it was bad.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was
Remember this
either, but I sent it to you. It was bad. I made a post about it on Twitter, but I might as well just say it on the podcast. Matthew was at 360 before this episode, or the week before this episode. He's currently at 361. Just went up to 362.
What was the joke?
I can't remember. Hold on.
I'm curious now. I've got to hear my pain.
Sorry, I have to go to the main account.
Scroll.
Yeah, it's gonna take a minute.
I haven't posted that much on there lately.
Oh, right. It was a bit of news that I'm sure that we're going to mention later about Apple TV. But I'll just go ahead and say it. There are spin-offs confirmed for Monarch along with season 2 of Monarch.
Oh yeah, I did hear that. And Kong is going to be in it this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the first season really ended, was with Kong.
I feel it deep within Paul.
I still need to watch season 1.
It's just beneath the skin.
Moving on.
No, he said he
What?
feels like a monster in a reaction to it. That's all he said. Nothing else. Just a band pun. A song pun. You went up to 361 off the podcast because of that shit.
That was,
Screw you.
that was perfect. So yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
we'll jump into movies we've seen this week. You guys could go. Whoever wants to go next.
Dylan Ford.
Yeah, no, I got a bunch.
I was gonna say we got 3 weeks to catch up on.
Yeah.
You watch way more during the week than I do, apparently.
What?
No, I do.
Somehow. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I better not be passing
I'm
anybody
just
up.
looking at that list right now.
Well, yeah, I started. I'm an old man. I figured out how to log finally on Letterboxd instead of just clicking watched.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's not from just this week.
No, it's the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty of on here that I've been wanting to fucking talk about. Cause
There's been a lot too for me, but go ahead.
first off, I rewatched The Shining, the original, not the miniseries. 7 out of 10. I still like it. I don't get a whole lot of hate for it.
You're not in love with it, like.
No. There are parts of it that I really like. But I'm with a lot of the criticisms about it. Like, I don't like the fact that Jack Nicholson seems crazy right from the fucking get-go.
Yeah, I understand. I love Shining is one of my top 5 horror films of all time. But when Stephen King, criticizes that version compared to the book and the miniseries, it would be a problem because there's really no character arc for Jack in the film. He's pretty much, I mean, even in the interview scene, there's just something off about him.
Yes.
Like immediately, Jack Nicholson is the greatest, like, crazy actor of all time, in my opinion. So I think that might be the reason why. But yeah, I can totally see that.
Well, I mean, it's just he gives Joker 89 energy.
Yeah.
Without being fucking Joker.
And before 89.
Yeah, over 10 years before. Like it's
So really,
insane.
Joker gave Shining energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think I actually, after I finished watching that, because I did a double feature that night. I'll get to the next one. But that night I sent you guys a message and I was like, man, I have a hot take about this movie, and it's about The Shining, and it's The Shining today is the kind of movie where if you wanted to Netflix and chill with somebody who likes horror movies, this is what you put on. This is the movie where you lay down on the couch and you're like, oh yeah, no, we're just going to watch the movie. And then you're making out 20 minutes in. That's what this movie is.
That's a bad movie to make out too, with some of that stuff. Like,
well, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just
bathtub part, and even the teddy bear part.
That's why I specify, like, if like you're like, oh well, let's watch a horror movie, but you're Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, I will
Like,
say though, like, no
perfect.
major studio would make that movie today. If it was any studio to be today, it would be A24 making it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, Cannibal Holocaust is a good movie to watch while you're eating.
I still haven't watched it. I
I've
know
watched
what's
it.
up with it.
I watched it a few years ago in college. Yeah, it lives up to its it lives up to that.
I'm a little concerned,
You
Matthew.
really had to bring that up.
I finally watched Doctor Sleep.
Nice.
Holy shit, I loved it.
I still have not watched it.
Awesome. It's awesome.
9 out of 10. Holy
It's-
fucking god, I love
In terms
it.
of like horror sequels, especially one that made like almost 40 years after the original.
Right.
It's one of the best.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I really do love it. I loved everybody's performance in it. I love a lot of the shots that they make in it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Rebecca Ferguson. Holy shit.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I knew that she could act really well, but you brought it up the last main episode, I think.
No, it was during the Dune episode.
Was it during the Dune episode?
Yeah.
A lot of her performance in Doctor Sleep really comes to shine in Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
that-
why I can't
that
wait to
one.
watch it.
Mhm.
Oh, dude.
She's amazing.
Oh, fucking good. I'm not gonna say shit,
Yeah.
but it's really good, and the fact that Stephen King was like, this makes me appreciate the original film way
It's
better.
somehow,
This is-
bridge that divide between the Kubrick version and the book, and Stephen King's vision.
Mm.
Somehow it did that, and it did it in the. I think one of the only people who can do that in terms of like modern horror filmmakers today is Mike Flanagan,
Yes.
because I think he's just that talented and that genius.
I cannot wait to. I'm going to start brushing up on everything that he's ever released, not just like the major things like the shit on like Netflix. I fucking love it. I haven't seen anything from him that
I can't think of a
doesn't.
single movie or series he's made that I disliked. I really can't.
Yeah, no,
he's made
it's
quite a bit.
all great. I fucking love it. I can't wait for him to make his Clayface project. It's gonna be good.
What if he did Ghost Rider for Marvel too?
I don't really feel like, of all the characters for that he could adapt,
There's
I
better
wouldn't-
characters.
I wouldn't pick Ghost Rider.
I
Honestly,
know
Yeah.
Scott Derrickson is apparently in talks to do a new Constantine.
that
could-
I feel like he needs to bring more of his horror into that.
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that was one of my problems with
Doctor
the
Strange.
with Doctor Strange was that if you watch, I mean, I'm not saying you had to make Doctor Strange a horror movie like Sinister or
Right.
Emily Rose, but it really didn't. When I was watching it,
It did not
never really,
deliver the
it never
horror.
really felt like a Scott Derrickson movie.
No.
So yeah.
Apparently, Matt Ryan will also be back for the role, the TV guy.
Shit, really?
Apparently, that's one of the things that James Gunn said, where he wants to bring back things
Okay.
that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's Matt Ryan as Constantine, Grant Gustin and Tom Cavanaugh for Flash and Reverse Flash.
I can't fucking wait for that. It's gonna be so good.
What was your next one?
I finally watched Blood and Honey.
10 out of 10.
Right? Yeah. No. 100%.
It's a great movie.
Tell me you,
Better than-
tell
No,
me
I
you didn't
didn't.
like it.
No. Okay. I genuinely enjoyed it, but I will say it's a bad fucking movie.
Yeah,
It is. No, I'm somebody who likes bad movies. Genuinely,
that one.
I
like
watch
it-
movies for entertainment.
I like bad movies too. That one was hard to watch.
Yeah, but
Even-
it's fucking
even in a-
entertaining.
even in with a group of friends, like I watched it. Like it was just insufferable.
Yeah, that's the reason why it's great.
I just have one question. Were you in a state of mind to watch it, or?
No, I was not feeling very elevated at that
Booze
time.
didn't help me when I watched it.
Let's face it, that movie is one that should be watched while under the influence of a libation.
Honestly, I'm willing to retry it. I don't ever want to watch like anything horror when I'm feeling that way, but I would 100% rewatch this while high.
We should give him watch
Oh, yeah.
Sinister and Alien while he's high.
No.
Fuck no.
As a friend of his, no.
No.
There are far worse ones to watch than those. Honestly.
Right. Sinister's pretty scary.
Yeah, that one might fuck you up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Have you
I'm
watched Insidious while high?
Fuck no.
That one will fuck with you.
Fuck no. No, it fucked with me when I was like completely sober when I watched it. Like I'm not doing that shit. Even
Fair
chapter
enough.
2 got me. Like I'm
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That sounds rather insidious.
God
That
damn
was,
it.
That was
That was
lame
not good.
even for you.
Do you guys override the spray bank?
Yes.
Yes.
That should not be in it.
That's not.
That was terrible.
Okay.
That wasn't
No
even a
way.
pun.
Got it.
That was just.
A cheap
No.
attempt.
That was. I don't even know if I would call that a proper attempt. I'm not gonna lie. That was just
that was not-
bad.
There was nothing proper about that.
No. No.
I'll give Blood and Honey a. I think I gave Blood and Honey a 6.5. Like it's. There were parts of that movie that worked.
What
There-
worked? Tell me honestly. Tell me what you thought worked. Tell me what you thought actually worked. I'm being serious. Like, what did you actually like about it?
The beginning.
The beginning. Was, like,
The beginning really worked. Like,
animation
no, well, the animation was good. I really liked the
that was
animation.
the
That
only
stood out
part
to me
that
a lot.
I genuinely liked.
I liked the camera work from when they're going into Pooh's treehouse at the beginning, where it's Christopher Robin. I like that. Honestly, I like the Friday the 13th, the Friday the 13th-ness of it. Like, I really like
Really?
that. Yes.
Really?
Well, no, that's the entire thing. I will argue that a bunch of the Friday the 13th movies are bad.
Yeah.
I'll argue
yeah.
it.
I'd be rolling up my
Uh-oh.
sleeves if I was sleeveless right now, boy.
No,
Like-
I completely agree. Most of them are not good. Like, there's only a few. Actually,
Now who's
A
upset?
few of those Friday the 13th movies I actually think are like enjoyable for me at least. I don't even think the original is that great.
It's
honestly.
not. A lot of them aren't,
Yeah,
truthfully.
I
Part
just
6 is my favorite Friday the 13th. I love part 6.
I'd have to rewatch all of them.
Jason Lives
It's been
is-
forever.
That one is the most fun. Definitely the best.
I've only seen the original, the remake, Jason X, and Freddy versus.
The remake is one of the only ones I haven't seen.
The remake's not bad.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I've
it's better
heard that
than
it like
the
subverts
Night-
expectations.
It's better
a
than the
little.
Nightmare one, the Nightmare remake for sure.
That's the only Nightmare Paul likes.
No, it's
You're
not.
joking, right?
I thought you said that was the only one you were.
I'm not. I'm not
remake?
a fan of the Nightmare series.
Right. So you only like the remake.
It's no. It's not that I only like the remake. It's just that it's not my favorite series.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with the original.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you didn't like any of them.
Yeah, I mean,
The
they're not
remake
like.
is just
It's not like I'm going out to
soulless.
actively rewatch any of
Okay,
them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm okay with them. I respect what they did for the genre.
Yeah, I thought you said you didn't like them.
yeah. I like Jackie Earl Haley as Freddy more than a lot. I think he gets the brunt of so much the hatred of it. It's not his fault. He tried. It's just the movie around him just failed completely.
I have a
Yeah,
very
I
hot
wouldn't
take
know.
about that.
Yeah. Did you have, what else did you like about Blood and Honey? I know you mentioned the Friday the 13thness of it.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Paul has a hot take.
What really bothered me about that movie, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be good, but the lack of complete care for any kind of script or story for it, like the fact that it follows groups of characters that have no relation, like Christopher Robin, I know, I mean, that whole plot was dumb. Then these group of characters who have no reason to be there other than it's just their vacation and they have no personality. They all feel the same.
Yeah, that's
There's a way to do it. There's a way to do that kind of movie without being that clueless and that inept when it comes to any kind of like actual filmmaking.
Well, if I had to talk about the bad aspects of Blood and Honey,
You can go on and on and on.
my thing is there. I feel like there's some stupid parts of the movie, like the kill for the girl that's in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Like you just saw you took a picture, you saw a stranger in the background behind you when you're facing away from the
Yep.
fucking house, or when you're facing the house, and when you see that and you don't see anybody else around you, you're like, oh, it's whatever. I'll just keep facing this way.
Yep.
Like, okay, well, you fucking deserved your fucking death at that point. I'm just fucking saying. Like, honestly, I don't know why they didn't just fucking drown you, but fucking whatever. We had a kind of drowning scene later. The pool scene was one that aggravated me a little bit. Like, get the fuck out of the pool.
Strangers Pray at Night actually did that kind of thing better. But,
Okay.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day. But
I think ultimately it's. I think some of the fault was the acting.
oh god, the acting is terrible.
Yeah, I think that was like my biggest frustration with it. Which, if they were all starting out, like that's not bad.
No,
Like,
some of
I mean,
them-
like-
some of them are professionals. They're just they don't feel like it. at
Yeah.
all.
I just it was
Felt like something high schoolers made or acted in.
the main. I'll call her the main girl because she was the entire fucking reason why they were there. But like the girl who had been stalked and had been gotten her house broken into.
The backstory that was there for no reason. that
Well, no,
never
that's-
came back at all.
No, that's the entire reason why they were like taking that vacation was because she had just had this thing go on.
But
So they're
it
trying to
goes
make her chill the
nowhere.
fuck out.
That kind
No.
of thing just goes nowhere.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's the fucking reason why they were there. And like that's the relevancy to the entire movie is the fact that
Yeah.
they're where they are because of this thing that happened to her.
It reminded me of the 2022 Texas Chainsaw reboot where they give one of the characters a school shooting backstory, which makes no sense and is never brought up again at all in the rest of the movie. I hate that kind of thing. You bring up a backstory, you got to make it relevant somehow to the rest of the movie. And movies like that do not make that relevant.
Well,
So, yeah.
I think the issue is if you're not going to make it relevant, then at least diminish it a little bit.
Yeah.
Water it down just a little bit so it's not like this huge part of the fucking movie where they're like, "Oh yeah, this happened to me," and then nothing else.
It felt
Like
like
just-
it felt like they did it just for shock value. Like we put this in there, so yay. We're deep.
I'm gonna move on to the next thing because I feel like I could talk a lot about Blood and Honey.
I think that the best part of Blood and Honey is whenever Winnie the Pooh is like, it's
one-
pooing time.
I
only
like
speaks one time in the movie, and it's like 2 words.
Yeah, you left.
So
I like that
stupid.
part. That part was cool too.
Was it cool? Really?
He should have killed Christopher Robin. He should have killed fucking Christopher
Agreed.
Robin right there.
But then they couldn't make the sequel or the
I don't give a
Tooniverse.
fuck. They could have had the sequel be about the girl. Like that would have made her way more relevant.
Yeah.
Should we do a whole episode on the Poohverse when the Avengers
Yes,
comes
yes,
out?
100%.
John
yes.
has to be here. For
Has
it,
to be
though.
here. Yes, 100%. John, you
We're
are
gonna
legally
torture
required to
him.
be here. Otherwise, you're out of the fucking group.
Ooh.
That's a half joke. I will be very upset if he isn't there.
What's the next movie?
Next movie was I rewatched Pulp Fiction. I watched Pulp Fiction for the first time in its entirety because I had seen like half of it before and then I fell asleep because like I tried watching it at like 2 a.m. like one night and it just didn't work for me.
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Great Sam Jackson impression.
I know it's horrible.
Well, as long as he's, you have to throw out the word motherfucker. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Any Sam Jackson impression you do, you have to throw that out.
That's like his only quote where that word's not used, probably.
Well, then fucking quote snakes on a plane. I don't know what the hell to tell
I've
you.
never heard a single white person give a good Sam Jackson impression.
No.
Yeah, I am never gonna try.
Too many N-words.
Oh, I think I gave it. It's hard because Letterboxd has you go from 1 through 5, and I like going through 10 because I
You
just
have to do the halves. And all that.
yeah. So it makes it a little more difficult. I listed it as 4 stars on Letterboxd, so that's at least 8. I think I had it at
Okay,
8.5.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I don't think it's. This could be a hot take. I think it's the weakest thing that I've seen come from him.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
I can
I-
can see that from a certain point of view. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, I
think the one that most people don't really love that much is Jackie Brown.
I still haven't watched Jackie.
I
I've
still
not
need
seen
to
it
watch
either.
Jackie Brown. But like that's usually the one people like go to bat for the least. But
Okay.
people still call it a good movie.
Well, I
So,
mean, this is iconic for a reason,
yeah.
and I fully see that, and I understand why it's a big thing. It's just, I don't know. If I had to pull a Tarantino movie off
If
the
you
shelf,
didn't
I
love
don't
it,
think
you
it'd be
didn't
this
love
one.
it. That's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well made. I think that, I mean, Tarantino in general is amazing.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Well, it didn't completely work for me, and at least made up for it in its production quality.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like 8.5 out of 10. Next, I watched Frankenhooker, which I text Paul
Where
about
was
it.
that? Where did you watch that from?
AMC Plus. Yeah, it's part of. It's. I'm pretty sure Shudder is part of AMC Plus now.
Yes.
So it's on Shudder.
Steve told me about that. He's like, you gotta watch it. It's like, no, I'm
Never heard
good.
of that.
I
It's-
liked it.
It's really good.
I liked it. There's a meme going around that Poor Things is just a knockoff of Frankenhooker or a better made version of Frankenhooker, and it's
Based on the
on
title,
point.
based on the title, I can see where people get that from.
It is like it's fully on the fucking point. The only difference is that the creator in Frankenhooker was
Who made it?
hold on. Let's see. Well,
Did,
if
did
it'll-
anyone actually?
Frank
was anyone, like-
Henenlotter. He's the one that made Basket Case.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen Basket Case.
Yeah, he made this at the same time as one of the Basket Case movies. I'm
When
pretty sure.
did it come out?
Frankenhooker came out in 1990.
Oh, I thought this was like a recent release.
No. No,
Okay.
it's one of those like really bad.
80s, 90s movies, yeah.
It's a cult movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it for what it was. I thought it was good. 6.5. Bill
Yeah.
Murray endorsed it when it came out.
Basket
So
Case is fun. Basket Case is really fun.
I still haven't seen Basket Case. I think that this is my first
It's
movie
like
from him.
it's like a 80s or 90s version of Malignant.
Really?
If you know Malignant, I'm not gonna spoil it, but
I love that movie so
but if,
much.
don't, and we can't say anything about it because I mean, it came out a few years ago, but that movie is so insane. I cannot ruin it for anyone.
You have to
So,
see it for yourself. You
yeah,
really
it's
do.
very similar to.
Have you seen it,
Malignant in a
Matthew?
way.
Okay.
You had me
okay.
watch it.
Oh, duh.
I love Malignant. It was so insane. I love it.
I have a song that I wrote about Malignant called Malignant, ironically.
Yeah, my coworker
Wild
told me
times.
about Frankenhooker. He's completely stuck in the 80s, so it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet he criticized me about buying VHS. He can get out of here.
He thinks Dune
Wait,
84.
VHS the movie?
no,
oh,
like
oh.
VHS, like tapes.
Oh, okay.
He thinks Dune 84 is better than Dune Part 1.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
told-
'cause he's
you-
fucking
you
crazy.
said something about that.
He's
Um,
fucking
I agree.
crazy.
Moving on. What's your next?
Moving on, I'll do this. Go back to back with these next three. Wait, yeah. So I watched the first Star Trek movie, the second and the third. So Wrath and Khan, Search for Spock. I originally didn't rate the first Star Trek movie because I didn't see the director's cut,
Mm.
and I didn't like the first one a whole lot.
Almost no one likes the original.
Okay,
Star
I
Trek
didn't.
movie.
I didn't know. I know everybody really
It's
likes the
so
second one.
Boring
I just
and so slow.
well, like I understand why it is because it came out
After 2001, and it was trying to beat 2001 almost.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, it was also just like, hey,
The
like
movie came
everybody's
out after
back.
Star Wars.
yeah,
It came out in
it's
80.
79. 79 is when
Oh, I
the
thought it was
motion
80.
picture
Yeah.
came out. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Star Trek the motion picture. Love Wrath of Khan, obviously.
Gone!
But Search for Spock, a lot of people have love or hate. I'm in the middle
Okay.
honestly. So yeah.
Well, this might be the hot take actually.
You prefer Search for Spock over Wrath of Khan, don't you?
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Okay. What's your reason?
The reason is I feel like it's better put together and it flows a lot better than the first two.
Huh. Okay.
Like Wrath of Khan felt a little disconnected at times, and I felt like at other times it was just a tiny bit too slow. Nowhere near as bad as the first one. But it just, I don't know. It also felt like everybody was in the right place.
And also, you have Christopher Lloyd as the bad guy.
Yes.
You can't go wrong with that.
I want to credit a lot of it to Leonard Nimoy
Mm-hmm.
because I'm pretty sure this was the first one that he directed. Was
Yeah,
Searching
he
for
directed
Spock.
that one, and
It was the next one, too.
Four, which
Yeah.
a lot of people think is the best of them.
Yeah, I almost watched that. I just got distracted.
Four is a lot of fun.
Okay.
The Voyage Home.
Since we didn't do the Star Trek episode last week, we're moving it to May 18th or whatever.
Okay.
The week after I go to Holiday World, so
Okay.
yeah, that's when we'll do the Star Trek episode.
Okay.
And the first week in August is when we're going to do our James Bond rankings. So that'll give everybody time to watch it.
Good.
I hope it's a good
I'm gonna need
bonding
that time.
experience.
Really?
I hope it's a good bonding experience.
Damn it.
Okay, you guys gotta stop doing.
207.
That one was at least better than the
Put that-
shit Matthew did.
John's
earlier.
crying at home right now listening to this.
Is he listening to this?
Probably.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
No, for Wrath of Khan, I understand why a lot of people like it. I understand why it's a lot of people's favorite. I don't want to stay on it a whole lot if we're going to have an entire episode about Star Trek.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. I do get it. He really is one of the best, or Khan is really one of the best villains we've ever fucking gotten.
Yeah, and
Like he's amazing.
so memorable.
Yes, I loved it. He was the shining part of the movie for me, and it's deserved.
Hence
Like,
the
I
name,
liked
Wrath
And
of
it's the
Khan.
movie,
Yeah.
and it's the movie that had the balls to kill off with the most beloved character in the
Yeah.
franchise. So.
I will say I prefer Zachary Quinto's Khan over
Is that-
Kirk's.
He
Really?
played Spock.
Yeah, Zachary Quinto played Spock, and
Spock
and
says
the,
it in Into Darkness,
Yes.
and Kirk does it. And
Oh, I thought you were saying
Into
Zachary
Darkness,
Quinto was Spock.
I'll
Khan.
talk more about that.
Yeah,
I
no,
have a
I'm
lot- I
not
have
trying to get
lot
on a discussion
I
about.
have a lot of problems with Into Darkness in that front, so
Uh-oh.
you'll hear more about that.
Yeah,
Into Darkness is my favorite.
Really?
I prefer Quinto's declaration of Khan more than I like Shatner's.
Oh,
It just felt.
Yeah, I
I'll
like
just
it
say
more.
it, to me, it just felt like cheap fan service. That part, honestly.
I got confused. I thought you were saying Quinto was con. I was
No,
like,
no,
wait
no,
a
no, no, no,
second.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
that-
no,
that
no.
confused me
That's
at
not
first.
that's not it at all. No,
What a
I just
con.
I
We need to get through these movies.
yeah. I just Shatner's con for being as infamous as it is, or not infamous, for being as like beloved a line in cinema history as it is. It just falls short for me. It's not as dramatic as I feel like it could have been. It could have been drawn out. There could have been so much more there, and you get that with Quintos. And that's all I'll say about it.
It's different. I'll just say it's different in both cases how it's used. I just prefer
well,
how
I-
Kirk.
Yes,
The context.
yeah. I can get that, and we'll have that conversation on the
Mhm.
Star Trek episode. I'm fucking sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I rated Star Trek, the first Star Trek until I see the director's cut at least, 6 out of 10. I gave Wrath of Khan 7 out of 10, and then it looks like I gave Search for Spock 6.5 out of 10. It was what I would guess. Next up, I rewatched Paul, which has Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
This one I was elevated for, and it was fucking great.
A lot of people love that movie.
8 out of 10. I honestly I like any movie with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in it, and the fact that a lot of their movies also line up with Edgar Wright's movies,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
I actually know someone named Nick Frost. He was in a band here in Indiana.
Son of a bitch. Hey, just ask him if he likes Ewoks. just ask him that. I rewatched Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
I won't give any ratings for those because
I mean, we talked
Star
about
Wars
them
is
to
one of those
death.
things that I refuse to rate. Like I'll do my personal rankings, but my rankings are the way that they are. If you've been listening to the show, you know how I rank everything. I refuse to rate them. I just refuse. Still fucking amazing. I also rewatched Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. I'm a prequel enjoyer. I watched Transformers: Rise of the Beast for the first time.
Cool.
7 out of 10.
I need to watch it again when I'm awake.
It's pretty solid.
It is. I like a lot of the visuals. I definitely think that they should have given it a little more time to bake when it came to creating the visuals for it.
Yeah.
Because I watched like the first 5 of it on my Fire Stick, and it wasn't looking great. So I switched over to my PS5 and I started watching it. It looked way better. But even switching over to that, where it was 4K the entire fucking time, like it just there were parts where it felt unpolished, and I also had a major issue with the script because there were parts like the main guy, I forget what his fucking name is.
I forget too.
Noah, I think that I
Yeah,
think that's
so.
what it was.
He's actually in Twisters too.
Oh, is he?
What's his name?
Yeah, I forget the actor's
keep going.
name, but I'm pretty sure the character's name was Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Towards the end, after
Anthony Ramos,
yeah.
who's a great. I love him. I mean, not just in Hamilton, but yeah, I think he's great. But yeah, keep going.
Right. After I was trying to remember the name of the villain, the main villain, Peter Dinklage, which that was a surprising casting. I didn't recognize him at
something
first.
Sean.
Unicron.
Well,
He was
that's-
Scourge.
that's
That was the big
Scourge.
bad.
Scourge is the main.
Yeah, Scourge was the main kind of, I guess, Decepticon, quote unquote, even though he's not a Decepticon.
Okay.
He
I
was
don't
the main one.
remember. I was. If Garrett and Paul probably remember this, I kept dozing off in the theater.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There's good
I
scenes in it.
just-
I like it.
I have such a dislike for the Michael Bay ones. Like such a dislike for them. Like honestly, Bumblebee and even that movie, I feel like are godsends compared to like
Everything after 2.
Revenge of the Fallen, or I mean, the third one is Dark of the Moon is okay.
Yeah, I like Dark of the Moon.
4 and 5 can just fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah. I prefer to be like mildly enjoy something than to be just aggressively annoyed by every single human character like I am with all the Michael Bay ones. Like even the first one, Shia LaBeouf is a terrible main character. Even in that movie, he just gets so much worse from that point on.
mean,
But yeah.
I think he was okay for how he was written. I think
He-
Shia
he's ju-
LaBeouf gave a good performance for
He's
what it was.
obnoxious. He's
Yes.
so obnoxious.
He was written that way, I would guess.
But
I
that's a problem with the writing too.
Yeah.
It's just not well written.
For Rise of the Beast, from what I remember,
And,
the only
not to mention all the female characters and the Michael Bay ones are just there for eye candy. And
Yes, yeah.
nothing else.
the only character I really liked from Rise of
Gratuitous.
the Beast that I remember was what's his name? He was like, I can't remember his name. It was Toby Nwigwe's character. He was he's a rapper.
I can't remember.
I don't.
While you're looking that up, it took me way too fucking long to realize that it was Pete Davidson.
Oh,
That was
that dude
fucking
is-
Mirage.
Yeah. I honestly really liked his role in it.
He played it well.
I like Pete Davidson more than most people do. So
Well, I like him. I'm not gonna shit on the dude. I think that he did great, and honestly, good for him for getting fucking Transformers money. Like, hate on the man
yeah.
if you want, but
Okay.
he got the bag.
Toby Nwigwe played Reek.
God, fucking oh.
but anyway, yeah, we got a little sidetracked there.
Yeah.
Finish.
Can you slide it that way? Don't enter.
That dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. You liked him?
Yeah, he was my favorite character probably of the humans.
Really?
And Rise of the Beast.
Yes.
I didn't really
Well,
care
yeah,
for
because he wasn't in the other
Well,
one.
I'm just saying. I thought you meant out of all the Transformers movies total. No, he was my favorite character in that movie.
Okay. He was good. I liked him more as the movie went on.
Yeah.
He wasn't my number one. Honestly, it was the kid Tails.
Yeah.
He was my favorite in the fucking movie, aside from the fire escape scene.
What else you got?
The last one I have is Ricky Stenicki, which is
Oh.
on Prime. Zac Efron. It's got John Cena.
I've not watched it
Is
yet.
it funny? Is it funny just a little bit?
Yeah. Yes. My mom has been pushing me to try to get to watch this fucking movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard,
She was like, "Oh man,
I've heard
you're gonna
literally
love it."
no one talk about it. Like that's the kind of thing with these streaming movies. You see them advertised, but you hear no one talk about them.
Yeah. Well, like I saw bits. I was seeing bits on Twitter about it where people were just talking about John Cena. They weren't talking about
Yeah.
any other part of the movie. Which John Cena is the funniest part of the fucking movie.
Mm.
He is great at fucking comedy. I'm tired of people not accepting it.
He is so good with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's the shining star of it, which is fine because he's basically the fucking title character. Well, technically he is the fucking title character, but that's something completely different. I liked it. I really did. I liked William H. Macy's part in it because he plays like the boss of one of two of the main characters.
Mhm.
And at one point, John Cena's he records William H. Macy's character in a conference or when they're all having a meeting, and the character is like emoting with his hands and shit the entire time that he's talking. So after the meeting, John Cena's like, "Dude, did you realize that guy was a world-class air dicker?" And they're like, "What the fuck do you mean?" He's like, "Did you guys never fucking realize it?" And he shows us this video that he took during the fucking meeting while William H. Macy's character is talking. And every single thing that he does makes it look like he's either giving somebody a hand, I'll say, or he's giving somebody more than a hand. But he does it with every single motion. And it doesn't make it any better what he's saying, because at one point he goes, "Two at the same time!" And he has both hands out. It's one of the best parts of the fucking movie because it's so fucking dumb. It's a good application of toilet humor. I will stand fucking by it. I thought it was funny. I like it. I don't think it's nearly as funny as my mom made it out to be. But I thought it was really funny. I think that's worth a watch if you just want a little laugh.
It's just that's my problem with all these like streaming comedies. Like the first weekend you'll probably get a few people talk about it, but like a week after that, no one's gonna.
Yeah,
80% of streaming movies you don't hear about a week or two later.
And that's comedies. I feel like need to have more emphasis in the theatrical window. I mean, last year we had like two pretty big ones that did get. I did hear people talk a lot about, like No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence, which I had a lot of fun with. I thought that was a really fun comedy.
It was good.
Of course, Anyone But You, which of course had two very hot stars right now, and I feel like that's was part of the appeal of it. But it was a huge hit. I feel like those two movies, and I would throw Barbie in there because it was mostly a comedy. Comedies I feel like should not solely be coming out on streaming because they're getting so little attention now because there's just so many of them. Put a few more of them on in theaters, and I think it was announced that Happy Madison or Happy Gilmore, Happy Madison.
It's a production company. It's fine.
Same thing. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming, and I feel like I don't know if Netflix is going to do like a limited theatrical window because they've been experimenting with that. I feel like that kind of thing. Put that in theaters. Happy Gilmore 2.
I thought it was. I thought it was going to be.
I don't know. I hope they'll. I hope they pull like a Knives Out 2. I feel like because Knives Out 2 did a theatrical release,
it was limited.
And then it did a full release a month after that, and that worked brilliantly for them. They should do something like that with more of their comedies, especially with Sandler.
I believe they did that with Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon also.
Yeah.
I never got to see Army. It did come out of a few theaters, not that many though.
I really enjoy Army of the Dead.
I did too. I like it more than Rebel Moon. But
Rebel Moon was painfully bad.
John's mad at home right now.
Part 2 comes out this week.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, Friday.
Dude,
I'm
I
fucking
haven't
waiting for the
heard
director's
anything
cut.
about it. That's
I
the
just
thing.
seen like the first post about it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I've been. That's one of my. That's been one of my ads on Twitter. Has been the fucking trailer for
I
it.
haven't seen any ads for it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But yeah. I mean, that was my thoughts on the streaming thing. But was that? did you
That
have
was
any
it.
more?
That was my final movie.
Okay.
that covered 3 weeks of movies for me.
I will. I'll try to make mine quick. Because I've watched quite a bit in 3 weeks, so I'm gonna put theatrical movies that I've watched. Obviously, Godzilla. These guys reviewed it. I wasn't in that review, but I did see it. I had a lot of fun with it because I'm a big Godzilla fan. Have been a big Godzilla fan for almost my entire life. I've seen almost all of the movies. Even the bad ones. It definitely felt like a Showa era Godzilla movie, and that's perfectly okay with me. It was. I had about the same amount of fun with it that I did the first Godzilla vs. Kong. So, another movie I saw in theaters was Immaculate, and I'm gonna put these two together because I watched them actually one day, and I watched the next one in the second day. I watched Immaculate one day, and then the day after that I went to see The First Omen, and that might have been a mistake because both movies are insanely similar. I don't know if that's just bad timing for release schedule, but they are very similar. I prefer The First Omen, and that's something I never thought I would ever say because I mean the trailers for First Omen were cool, but the bad taste of Exorcist Believer left me in such a sour mood against religious horror that was like, no more of these for a while. But I liked Immaculate. I liked it fine. Sydney Sweeney was perfectly good in it. A little bit slow for me, but did have a crazy ending. First Omen, though, I mean, for a movie that really no one was asking for, the amount of effort they put into it and the level of dedication from a first-time filmmaker with Arkasha Stevenson. This was her first movie. Like, I don't know if she's worked on anything before this. Like, I think she's done a little bit of TV. I think she did Legion, a couple episodes of the Legion show.
I've not watched that yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
That's good.
But yeah, like a movie that had no business being this good, and that's The First Omen. And it was just insane. Like it really is just an intense film from beginning to end. And they really did their homework at making it feel like a 70s horror movie, like the original Omen, and just updating it with a little bit of modern sensibilities. It doesn't really rely on jump scares that much. It really does create a sense of foreboding and mood from all the acting, the cinematography, the directing, especially. Like, there's some shots in that movie, The First Omen, that I still just cannot get out of my head. Especially one where, if you've seen the movie, I don't know if anyone else has. That's been a hot topic. There's one effect that they do in the movie, and I'm just gonna say it revolves around a birthing scene, and it's it's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen.
I'm not gonna watch it, so I don't care about spoilers. They might though.
It is. It's horrific in all the best ways. And there's another shot. I won't give anything away, but something comes out of the darkness, and while characters like kind of trapped in this room, and it is eerie. And Nell Tiger Free in this movie, who's the main actress of the film, it gives one of the best like main character performances in a horror film that I've seen in a long time. Like the amount of places she goes to with her performance is just staggering. There's one scene near the end where it was one shot that lasted like a minute, and I've never seen anything like that from from an actress or an actor. It was just incredible. It has a little bit of an MCU type ending with the original Omen that is a little cheesy compared to the rest of the film, but I think the First Omen, in my opinion, is, as of right now, is the best horror film of the year so far. It is genuinely. I was genuinely shocked by how great it was.
From what I've seen, the box office is not doing well.
Because I kind of expected that because no one was really asking for another Omen movie. Right. And I feel like movies like Exorcist Believer did not help that at all.
No, it didn't.
But this is a movie that I feel like will get a big following over time.
Later on, yeah.
Like
Blade Runner 2049 did.
Or comparing it to another horror film that also faced a similar slow build was Exorcist 3. In that movie, I love Exorcist 3, and that movie didn't get a ton of love when it came out in 1990, but in my opinion is almost as good as the original Exorcist.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't check the box office.
I'm not gonna check the box office because I don't really feel like that's important for a movie.
I don't
like
care about it. I seen like a report about it, and I was like shocked.
It's not gonna kill them.
No.
The budget wasn't even that high for the First Omen.
Yeah.
It's not gonna, and it's a Disney movie.
Right.
It's not gonna kill them.
Yeah, I was just shocked because it didn't even make $1 million opening weekend in America.
No, it made a right under 10 million.
No, that was worldwide. In domestic, it only made.
Yeah.
Domestic only made like 825,000 or something.
Again, it's a movie that I think is good enough that's gonna build a cult following of its own very soon. Another movie I'll briefly touch on, theatrical wise, is Civil War, which came out this weekend, and from what I heard today, it was A24's biggest opening weekend ever. Which finally, I'm a huge A24 fan, have been for ever since The Witch in 2016. I feel like it was gonna come eventually. Like A24 was gonna build its own, wide appeal over time, and they did it with a movie that I think is one of the most intense and terrifying non-horror films I've seen in a long time. This is Alex Garland's movie. His last movie, Men, I didn't think was that great, and it was just, I felt like it was, other than like the symbolism, which was pretty obvious, I felt like it was very hollow and didn't really have that much to say.
Annihilation is incredible, though.
Annihilation, I love. Ex Machina was great too. I feel like he's 3 for 4. Honestly, this has some terrific performances from Kirsten Dunst. This is her best work I've seen from her in a long time. Also got Wagner Moura, who I'm not that familiar with, but he was terrific in the film. And also you have, I forget.
Kaylee Spaney or whatever.
Kaylee Spaney, who's been getting a lot of roles recently.
She'll be in Alien Romulus.
Yep, she's and she was also in Priscilla, and I think she did a terrific job in that. The person that everyone's going to talk about coming out of this movie is Jesse Plemons. Jesse Plemons has 5 minutes in this movie, and it is haunting. It is the scariest scene in the movie, and it felt like the most real scene in the movie, just due to what happens in it and the kind of dialogue that gets said in it. I mean, with all the divisiveness in the country right now, that that really put the fear in me when I watched that scene. And it's really great in IMAX too. The sound design is amazing in this film. If you get the chance to see this movie in IMAX, please do, because not only does it look great, the sound really puts you in this environment with all the gunfire, and the soundtrack is really interesting too. You just really feel like you're there, traveling with these photojournalists through the country while they're witnessing all these horrible things. Obviously, a lot of political talk has been put on this movie.
Right.
This movie is not political at all. I think a lot of people will actually take issue with how apolitical it is. The point of the movie is not about politics; it's about war, and a hypothetical war that we might see one day, and hopefully don't. But yeah, this is a terrific movie. It's an intense one. This is not, it's not. I wouldn't call this like an action-packed movie, because it does have some really great battle scenes, but that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is to make you feel like you're traveling with these people, these photojournalists, on this road trip, and it definitely has the tone of something like 27 Days Later. Also does feel like Apocalypse in tone, Apocalypse Now. But yeah,
it seems more of a thriller than an action movie.
Yeah. And I loved it. I know it's not everyone is loving it right now, but I really appreciate it. I think it's something that definitely needs to be seen in a theater to fully enjoy it. In terms of movies, I just watched at home. I watched for the first time in a classic, a comedy classic called Annie Hall. This is Woody Allen's film. This came out in 1977, and I think in terms of like the Oscar talk, I think this won Best Picture. I can't remember if it did. It took the Oscar away from Star Wars, but I think Annie Hall, Annie Hall is a terrific comedy. Regardless of how you feel about Woody Allen now, and personal life aside, I think he's a terrific filmmaker. And this is a comedy that was way ahead of its time in terms of the style, because it has a lot of fourth wall breaking. It has a really iconic scene with subtitles where two characters are talking or flirting, and they two characters are talking, and underneath there's subtitles that basically summarize what they're saying. Like Woody Allen says, photography is interesting because it's an art form that's not fully emerged yet, and it underneath it has the subtitle that says, I wonder what you look like naked. Stuff like that just really does make the movie. It's got a ton of great laughs in it. Christopher Walken is in it for a brief scene, and it's one of the most awkwardly funny things. It's one of his like, he looks so young in it. Christopher Walken does. But yeah, Annie Hall's a great one.
I'm saving it to my list.
Yeah. Rewatched Burn After Reading, which is one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies.
I know what you're talking about.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it at an age I shouldn't have.
One of my favorite Coen Brothers comedies. If you've seen, if you're a fan of, it's definitely, Coen Brothers have a really interesting range of different tones in their films. They can make something that's really lean back and very, sarcastic and comedy heavy, like The Big Lebowski, and Burn After Reading, and then they can go super dark with No Country for Old Men or True Grit. Burn After Reading is definitely one of their lighter movies. It's if you don't know what it's about, it's basically like a espionage spy movie where everyone in the movie makes the wrong decision. Like
Yeah.
everyone is either a complete idiot, so self-absorbed, or just completely oblivious to what's happening. Because the main gist of the MacGuffin of the film is like this file drive that the characters find, and everyone just has the complete wrong choice when they come across it. And the interesting thing about it is there's really not much of a story to the film, like Big Lebowski, which really has a similar thing where it has kind of a plot where it has like escalation, it has things happening on top of each other.
Yeah.
Ultimately, both movies have no resolution, and the characters don't really change at all by the end of it. And I love both movies for that. Literally, the last line, I won't really exactly say what the context is, but one of the characters just goes, "What did we learn?" I don't know. Fuck it. End credits. And that's I love these kinds of movies. They just a movie where just random shit happens, but just some of the funniest dialogue that you've ever heard. The acting is phenomenal. It has an all-star cast. Brad Pitt in my opinion, his funniest role ever.
Yeah.
He plays a complete idiot, like sports jock who literally is the dumbest person who's ever lived. And the way that character wraps up his character arc is amazing. You will never see it coming. It also has George Clooney and Tilda Swinton, Frances McDormand. Just a great cast. Everyone adds something unique to it. Just a super entertaining film, and it's unlike most comedies you've ever seen. And lastly, at least the one I can remember rewatching, I rewatched The Empty Man because I've talked about it a few times. Still great. I love The Empty Man so much. So yeah.
Paul, what do you got?
Oh, you're gonna love me and hate me. I'm gonna backtrack for the last 4 weeks on my letterbox because, yeah.
Here for the Godzilla episode. Well, you were here, but you weren't here.
So, I rewatched the first Exorcist.
The original.
Okay.
Then we watched Believer.
Man.
Obviously, The Exorcist is a 5-star.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yep.
That's a given.
I think everybody will probably hate me for Believer, but I put it at 4 stars.
Really?
Not because I think it's a good Exorcist movie, because it's not.
Nope.
But if it's not an Exorcist movie, it's a really good movie. Same thing with Season of the Witch with Halloween. If it's not a Halloween movie, a lot of people would really enjoy it. I feel like the same thing applies
okay.
here. I don't think it's like assuming it was a standalone movie unconnected to the Exorcist franchise. It definitely has its issues. You know, it's not the best possession movie by any stretch of imagination, but for what it did, and discounting the Exorcist title, I enjoy it.
Okay.
We watched Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Mm-hmm.
4-star.
I think you guys already talked about
We
it.
may have.
Yeah.
We may have. I can't remember.
I remember it.
It was on the
somewhat.
Frozen Empire review.
Yeah, Paul wasn't
Yeah.
here.
Oh.
I think that was brought up in that video, I think.
Well, a bunch
Well,
of
Paul
us had
was here,
watched
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's just Paul wasn't here to talk about it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Again, 4-star.
Yeah.
I did not cry at the ending. I did not.
Sure you didn't.
Oh, hi, tears.
Uh huh.
That was tough.
I also watched Immaculate. I really enjoyed it.
You gotta watch First Omen. You gotta watch it, man.
I'm probably going to this week. Immaculate 4-star. I think that it's Sydney Sweeney's best performance.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Outside of like Euphoria season 1, I would agree.
I've never
But yeah.
I've never seen it, so I have no idea. But I really enjoy the movie. I think it is definitely slow.
Yeah.
I feel like there are certain moments that were unnecessary that just kind of made it feel a little long. I think I understand the opening scene, but it does feel slightly disconnected from the rest of the movie, where the sister's trying to escape and then she's chased down.
Let's not get into spoilers for it. I mean, it's still in theaters, so yeah, let's try to stay spoiler free. But I would agree.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoy it. We watched Training Day, 3.5 stars.
Oh, really? 3.5 stars for Training Day?
Mhm.
Wow.
It was a very well done movie. It was a very good movie, but
Denzel in that movie, man.
it just really wasn't my style.
Hmm.
Shockingly.
Okay.
Um,
Denzel's performance in that just elevates it so much for me. Like,
best part of the movie.
yeah.
It is
And
in my top 100 though.
the scene where he gets him high is hilarious.
It is one of the
Um,
best scenes.
Lisa Frankenstein.
I still need to see
Oh.
that.
It's
I just
so
I didn't get
good.
I didn't get the chance to see it in theaters. And it wasn't in there for long, but yeah.
It's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. 4.5 stars for me.
I have a take on it too. I'll mention one of them.
Oh gosh.
Mm.
Some of these that I'm about to say I did not tell Matthew about. I rewatched Cocaine Bear. 2.5 stars. Yeah, it's just
not
not.
a great movie, but
It's
I
not.
thoroughly
it's
enjoy
fun.
it.
I feel like Cocaine Bear is for you what Blood and Honey is for Dylan. Bad movie, but enjoyable.
Okay.
Cocaine Bear, and I'm gonna say something, Matthew. You're really not gonna like me for.
Oh no.
Cocaine Bear, I feel like is, for me at least, is on par with the kind of movie that Twister is. I think they're both like Hollywood type B movies.
I can see that.
I mean, I don't because I don't really love Twister that much either. But you know, for historical
That blows.
time, but it's really not.
You're destroying
I
him.
just never really, outside the effects for which the time are revolutionary. The characters and all just can't get into that much, honestly.
He's dead.
Really?
Stop. He's
You're really
dead.
surprised that I said that.
It's his favorite movie.
It's one of them. It's not my favorite.
The amount of fucking times you've
It's
seen
the-
Twister.
Yeah.
I rewatch it more than anything else recently. But Wonder Woman: The Dark Knight are my
Recently?
favorites. Yeah, like the last couple of years.
You know what? Okay,
Um,
yeah, I can see you rewatching Wonder Woman more than Twister. I can see it.
But yeah.
The Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Suicide Squad.
Nope.
The better one.
The better one.
Definitely agree it's better. Still 3 stars for me.
Man,
Damn,
Um,
really?
I just adore that one so much.
It's so fucking good. James Gunn knows exactly what he's fucking doing.
Yeah.
This one is really gonna hurt. Really gonna hurt.
Who's it gonna hurt?
Matthew.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay.
Oh no.
I don't like
One of these is going to be a little bit surprising for Matthew. The other is going to infuriate Matthew. So Wonder Woman, the first one. I only see your shadow because of the light being right behind you, but I can tell that you're pissed already, and I haven't even said anything. 3.5.
That's a 7.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not.
I
It's not
just
bad.
don't. I do not see the appeal, and I'm not just saying that because you idolize the movie. I genuinely don't see the appeal.
Okay.
I don't quite connect with it.
Okay.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I connected with it heavily because I love that kind of.
Do you also feel like an Amazonian?
No, that's not what I mean. Yeah. I loved
80
it because it really did bring me back to like. It really did feel like that kind of like Christopher Reeve, Superman, Richard Donner thing. In
Understandable.
the time it came out, because Wonder Woman came out, I think
17.
Yeah.
That was kind of one of the first time one of the first times, not before this time, where I'm really feeling superhero fatigue, like now especially. That was when comic book films were kind of feeling like more the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman and Logan came out around the same time, and I think really those two movies I think made me fall in love with the subgenre again.
Yeah, I think Logan came out March 7th.
Yeah,
17.
March. Wonder Woman came out in June.
Yeah, June 2nd,
And it was
I
the
think.
biggest movie of that summer.
Yeah.
I remember it fondly because I worked at the theater when it
It
came
even
out.
did better than Guardians 2.
Yeah, it was the thing that everyone was saying that summer. But yeah.
1984, 4 stars.
Really?
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
I thought
mean,
I thought it was better.
Yeah. No, I like
Yeah.
it a lot more than the first one.
Man.
I like
serious?
Yes. No, I'm dead serious. I like 84 more.
I like the
Is
first one
this
better,
like
but
Batman Returns thing where I don't know.
I do like 84, but I still like the first one better.
I think 1984. I mean,
It did
a lot
not.
of people have problems with it. And
It didn't deserve the
problems
hate it
are
got.
obvious, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't hate 1984. I do see why. I do see why people have
Yeah.
serious issues with it. But
Yeah, I can see those.
I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not.
no, 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 no.
Night Swim.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
After Night Swim, I only have 2 more. Night Swim, 1 star.
That was bad.
I despised it so much.
You didn't even finish it.
No, I turned it off.
And
And I don't turn off movies. I don't.
it
But
was,
this one was so bad.
it was the first time filmmaker, so I'll give it a little bit of slack for that. And it was based on the director's short film. I don't know. It just wasn't. It wasn't executed well. I don't know. It didn't make much sense. I could see how it sounded good on paper, but yeah, just it was.
The
it wasn't-
premise isn't bad.
Yeah. I'll say this. I want to see what. I'll give the filmmakers another chance, or to see what they do, because it's hard to really declare someone a bad filmmaker after one movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, their first one, Night Swim, not good.
Mm-hmm. The Visit, we literally watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
3.5 stars.
I really like The Visit.
I
a lot.
enjoy it.
You didn't forget your
It
other
was
one,
the
did you?
movie.
What?
You didn't forget the other one, did you? You had a documentary.
What was the documentary?
WWE.
I will mention that.
Okay.
So I do technically have 2 more than
Yeah, I didn't know if you forgot about that or not.
I wasn't sure if we were counting documentaries or not. But yeah, The Visit.
Dylan. Yeah,
It was a film.
yeah, Dylan.
I was just going to ask. The Visit is the one where it's the kids that got dropped off
Yeah,
at their
the found-
grandparents' house,
yeah,
right?
found-
Yeah.
M. Night's found footage.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That was
All right.
It
After
didn't
a
look
long
found footage at
streak-
all.
after a long streak of M. Night just like crapping the bed several
Yeah.
times. That was The Visit was his first like kind of return to form.
Okay,
then, you
okay.
know, Split, and Split was his next one. that
Yeah,
hit,
yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed The Visit a lot. I think it's fun. It's certainly got issues, but I mean, it's one of M. Night's twists that I feel like does make sense, and he has a lot of twists that don't really make much sense when you think about it. So
Yeah, that twist was good.
Late Night with the Devil.
Please keep
I've been
spoiler
wanting to
free.
talk
I
about
have
that movie
not.
for a while.
I haven't seen it yet. Please keep
You wanna
spoiler
come over
free.
Friday?
We'll
You want to come over Friday? It's on Shutter Friday.
Sure. Yeah.
oh, it's
I'm
it comes out
so
this
fucking
soon
down.
on Shudder.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts about this movie.
You just keep them spoiler free.
I-
loved it.
I will keep it spoiler free. You know, not just for you, even though that's a large part of it, but I think this is one of those movies that the viewers and listeners need to see
Okay.
for themselves.
Yep. The less said about it, the better.
Yes. There were so many twists and turns in this
Yeah.
movie. I felt like the progression, the flow was very nice. And oh my gosh, David Dastmalchian is a lead actor. He's so good. So
Really,
good.
He really killed it. Seriously.
He
Hell
did.
yes.
Hold on.
I love this movie so much, and I have a take. Some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. I think that it is the best horror movie in my generation.
Really?
That's a bold. That's a bold.
It's
one.
very bold.
Yeah.
It's very bold, but I believe it full-heartedly. It is that good. I even put it above Scream.
Holy shit! Really?
Yes.
No, yeah, that's. I was like, what?
I won't
Oh
go
my
as far as
God.
to say it's like generational level, but no, I said First Omen was my favorite horror movie this year. I'll say it's second best. Late Night with the Devil, I think, is the best horror film so far this year.
Okay.
But yeah, Late Night with the Devil is
It's so
a must
good.
see this year.
If you don't see it, you're really missing out.
Yeah,
I know that there's controversy because of the use of AI.
Yes. Yeah.
that
What I will say
didn't
on
really
that,
bother me.
what
Well,
I will
mean,
say
it was
on
such a
that,
minor thing.
Yeah,
if anyone is hesitating to see it because of that, which number one, I will say I understand the concern. But number two, the only moments that have AI
It's like
are just
10
the transitional
less than 10
cards.
It's
Yeah.
like less than 10 seconds of the
Yeah,
total runtime.
it's just the transitional cards.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't affect the movie or the
Nope.
flow of the movie. You know, it's just art. Now, I will say I do wish that they would have hired actual artists.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they were experimenting, and I mean, I can't fault them for that.
Yeah.
For
We're living in changing times, you know. and
better or
It's
worse.
something like that was gonna happen at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be naive to think it wouldn't. So.
Mm.
So, I will say too, like, the film festival we went to.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI, there was one short film that was
Oh,
entirely
God.
AI. The
That
art.
was bad,
I don't know if
dude.
the audio was also AI. I'm assuming it was an actual speaker.
I could tell it was.
It was?
And the fact that, I mean, AI. We're not. I don't think we're at that level where AI should be making like just
full
full
shorts
movies
or
without any-
movies. Yeah,
It should only be a tool.
it
'cause
was.
the eyes of the characters. They are not characters. It was just it was basically just the short film we saw with AI was just literally it was like a commercial. It wasn't
Yeah.
even really a short. And the eyes of the characters and the people in it were moving all over the place.
The fingers.
The fingers, of course. You know, I didn't really get a good sense of the point of it.
No.
It was like a war thing. I don't know.
I don't
and
know
there
what it was
the
about
second
at all.
AI thing was basically it was like a futuristic, like it looked like Tron. It was basically almost like more of a tech demo than like a short film. But yeah, yeah, I don't think we're at that level where AI should be making full like even short films, like
Mhm.
not to the extent where you're telling like 3-act stories with it. We're not at that level yet.
It'd be great if
So-
we never get there.
It would be, but you know, don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the documentary about Bray Wyatt that came out.
I don't know about this.
So Bray Wyatt was a wrestler who, I mean, I could give my thoughts on him as a person or as a creative, but he passed away very unexpectedly a few months back, and it left the entire wrestling world hurting.
How old was he again?
He was in his 30s. I'm not sure exactly how old he was.
I think he said 35.
Somewhere around there. This documentary was both amazing to watch and hard to watch. You know, as a wrestler myself, you connect with certain people within the industry, and for me, one of those people was Bray Wyatt. And it was fascinating to sit through it and, you know, see some of the behind the scenes things that we previously were not privy to. Seeing him in the Fiend outfit without the mask, for example, was interesting. We also got a glimpse at his final creation that he was set to debut. Just essentially an updated version of his Fiend character. And I was sitting through that and just trying to not get emotional. Because if you're a Bray Wyatt fan or a WWE fan or just a wrestling fan in general, just watch this documentary. It's a tearjerker. I'm not even going to rate it on a star rating, truthfully.
Understandable.
I'll jump through mine real quick. All the rewatches I'm just gonna say, except for like one or two of them, I'm not gonna mention them really. I rewatched a lot of superhero movies. I rewatched. I'll do the first time watches after. I rewatched Power Rangers 2017.
Yeah.
I watched The Heat again with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
More superhero movies: Son of Batman, Justice League: Throne of Atlantis, Batman vs. Robin, Batman: Bad Blood, Justice League vs. Teen Titans, Justice League Dark, Wonder Woman, Teen Titans: Judas Contract, all three Dark Knight movies, Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. I rewatched Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one. Army of the Dead I rewatched with Paul.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
I watched Army of the Dead, and it is my favorite. Who made it? Zack
Zack
Snyder?
Snyder,
I
yeah.
thought so.
That's your
It is my favorite Zack Snyder movie. I really enjoy it. I
Honestly,
really,
get
really
down
enjoy
with
it.
that. Yeah.
I like it. It's just not. I think my favorite's either 300 or the Snyder Cut.
Mine's Man of Steel still.
Snyder Cut is 2-star from me on Letterboxd
Oh, God.
You probably didn't even finish that.
Oh, yeah.
because it's so fucking boring.
To be fair,
Yeah,
it's
it
hard to
is.
get past the fisherman song.
That's the hardest part, yeah.
It is.
Fisherman's song.
and it's also-
like
Yeah, when they're in the fishing village.
It's
start
also
That's
singing.
that's
The
like
very
in the first
beginning.
10 minutes though.
Yeah.
I know. It's so
it
fucking... It's unbearable.
it
Just
is
fast
an-
forward
It's
through
not
that.
good, but like you can.
I know you can fast forward through it, but I don't want to sit through a fucking 4-minute fucking song where they're
It wasn't
just...
that long. It was like 2 minutes. But
it's
It
unnecessarily
felt
long.
like 10 minutes. It was...
if that's what kills the movie for you, then that's a you
Listen,
problem.
I love musicals. I could not fucking stand that scene. It could have been fucking cut to 30 seconds or less.
You know why he did it? It's basically him just saying to screw you to the studio. He's like, don't let me do what I want, so I'm just going to do this despite them.
Well,
That's
good on
pretty much-
him.
There's so
That's
Okay,
fine.
there's
I
so
just-
much more great stuff in the movie that
Yeah.
completely outweighs.
No. It didn't kill the movie for me. I fucking hated that scene. It's
Okay.
hard to get past that scene.
No, Paul
I
didn't
love
like
the
the
Snyder
movie.
Cut. I love
I
it.
mean, if you don't like Zack Snyder, then you're obviously not going to like the Snyder Cut.
No,
But,
obviously.
I mean, just I rewatched. Right before I watched that one for the first time, I watched the
Whedon.
Whedon cut. Like,
Yeah.
Ugh.
it was like literally like night and day.
Yeah, no. See, I liked the Whedon cut before I watched the Snyder Cut. I did.
I didn't.
I saw the flaws with it. There was stuff in it that I didn't like, but I was like, okay, this is what we fucking got. And then we got Snyder Cut. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm probably still gonna like the Whedon cut. Nope.
I would vastly prefer a filmmaker, even if it's long, and it isn't edited down as isn't edited for fat sake. I would vastly prefer that than the corporate nightmare that the 2017 cut was. Like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, it was fucking atrocious. I didn't realize it till
I'm
Snyder
not
came
much
out.
to be aggressive. Like, I'm not one to voice my opinion and like make a scene. I didn't realize how bad it sounded till like everybody looked at me in the theater. I walked like all the people at the front desk in the theater. I walked out. I was like, I waited 17 years for that.
Oh,
The Whedon. Because I like watching the Justice League cartoon growing up. I was like, I waited 17 years for that, and everybody just looked at me. It's like,
Everybody's like, okay, well, you saw the
And
entire movie, so no refund.
I get what you mean, because even watching the Snyder Cut, it wasn't the Justice League movie I imagined.
Right.
For like my life, but it was much closer to it than the 2017. Honestly, the first Avengers was, I think, the first movie I saw that like kind of obviously not with the same characters, but the same,
Yeah, it kind of scratched
same
that
kind of feel.
itch, yeah.
That felt like the Justice League movie I wanted when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I've grown to really appreciate movies like the Snyder Cut.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Rewatched Twister again, big surprise.
Wow, really? What'd you
That's
think?
twisted.
I watched the documentary with Paul.
Okay.
What's
I give-
it called?
Bray Wyatt becoming immortal.
Oh, what's it on?
Peacock.
Oh, okay.
It was. I'm not much of a wrestling fan. It was good for what it was. I give it 4 stars. I rewatched Violent Night because I just got
Yeah.
the Blu-ray.
Uh-huh.
Still 5 stars.
Good.
Best Die Hard movie since Die Hard 3.
Yeah.
No.
I rewatched Jesus Revolution again.
Okay.
I liked it even better the second time.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. It's a lot of people have problems with Christian movies because they try too hard and they're not good.
There's some that slip through the cracks, but yeah,
This is a well done
movies
movie.
from pure what do you call it? Pure flicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movies like that are what give Christian movies and
A bad
religious
name. Yeah.
movies a bad name.
Yes.
But there are ones that are
Yes,
good.
they've started coming
That are
out,
good,
especially lately.
but, yeah.
Ordinary Angels is supposed to be really good with Alan Richardson and Hilary Swank.
Okay.
That came out earlier this year. I still believe is really good. I can only imagine it's really good. Like those are,
Yeah.
they're actually putting effort into it, and they're actually good movies.
A movie being a Christian movie doesn't mean it sucks. It
Right,
just-
exactly.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's the reason. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying like, there's not that level of quality with a lot of the older ones.
There aren't many that I can think of, but yes, there are good ones. Most of them I agree are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the good ones have come out in the last like 10 years, or probably even 7 years, but because they're just putting the effort into it now. Like this is Kelsey Grammer in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He plays the preacher.
Yeah, and at least most of these Christian movies don't even look like movies in the first place. They're so badly produced.
Yes.
And all that. So yeah.
They look like they're shot at like a high school drama club. A lot of them.
Most of them look like they were shot in like an old iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the movie, and then I'll get to the new ones I've seen. He's a lot of people were like, when the hippie movement started, they're like, "Oh, this is the end of the world. This is horrible." And the preacher's daughter's like, "Grow up. You're so stuck up and stuff like this." And he's like, "You know what? If God wanted me to meet a hippie, one would be in my living room." She picked up a preaching hippie hitchhiker. The next day, he comes home, and there's a hippie standing in his living room. And he's calling his wife. He's like, "Why is there a hippie in the living room?"
I think that was in the trailer.
Yeah,
I
it is.
I saw the trailer. I think. I
And
remember
it's
that.
stars the hippie is the dude who plays Jesus on The Chosen, which I just
okay.
started watching.
Okay.
It's really good. I've watched 2 episodes so far. So yeah, I watched Lisa Frankenstein. I really enjoyed it.
I definitely need to check it out.
4.5 stars.
It's great.
It's on Peacock. This is my take. I don't necessarily say it's a hot take because I think a lot of people will agree with me. I feel like it fits. It's not necessarily the same type of movie, but it fits that itch. It's kind of like this generation's Ghostbusters or Beetlejuice, where it fits that like quirky
Lisa
comedy.
Frankenstein.
You know
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I
It
can
fits
see
that
that.
like quirky comedy horror.
Like, it
Yeah.
definitely feels so. It feels like an '80s movie, right?
Well, it's set in the 80s.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it definitely feels like Ghostbusters or Beetlejuice. It's that quirky comedy horror type stuff.
Yeah.
How did
I
they get
agree.
away with the one scene?
I don't know. Some of this stuff, I won't spoil it. Some of this, I don't know how this was PG-13. I really
it's
don't.
PG-13.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some stuff in it that's clearly R-rated.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
how I felt about First Element. If you didn't know, was almost going to be NC-17 because of some of the things I mentioned. Like there's that birthing scene.
Yeah.
But thankfully, yeah, it was. First Element is semi NC-17. This is semi an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the humor and just some of the one thing they show.
Is there nudity?
Do you want to know? It's not necessarily a spoiler.
Just say it.
Something that's cut off, and you see the shadow flying through the air.
Yeah.
A shadow that would get past.
Yeah.
The end
Yes.
of the day, if it's a shadow.
Yeah,
or
you
something like
see
that.
you clearly see what it is though. The shadow.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
flying through the air.
Okay.
I watched The Visit 3.5 stars. It was okay. Like some of it was kind of slow for me, but I enjoyed it overall. Night Swim 1 star.
Yeah, I
let-
agree.
see what my review said.
The-
Some
the
of the
whole-
acting is decent. Writing is mediocre. Premise is stupid.
So the whole baseball thing was so like I kind of get what it was, but all like the cutting back to like the baseball
Yeah.
footage. I mean that definitely felt like a first time filmmaker
Yeah.
choice there. It just none of it flowed well for me.
Other thing I'll
with
mention.
X-Men.
Other thing I'll mention with Lisa Frankenstein is I didn't know until then that I needed a musical number from "Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore" by REO Speedwagon.
Okay. REO Speedwagon. That's not a name I hear very much. Not anymore.
Last movie was Argyle.
Oh, okay. How was that?
I did not like it that much. Did you like it?
Of full-length movies, it's my number 2 this year.
Number
Behind
two?
Dune.
Really?
So you liked it?
Yeah.
I can definitely see why there is a fan base for it for sure. I like Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
For the most part. I just feel like it definitely felt. I wish it was rated R because it definitely felt like it was missing a bite that the first Kingsman movie was.
It kind of fits into that universe too in a way.
I mean,
there's a
the fact
post-credit
that
scene.
they literally that confused me so much. Of like, what are we doing here?
Because that's why I said he wanted to be separate from Kingsman, but it's like
Yeah, it's like
then you mention it.
then
it's like, what?
why'd you do that?
Right.
Yeah, I just wish Matthew Vaughn would kind of get away from the spy stuff for a while. I mean,
He's working on
That's
the
cool-
next
that's-
Kingsman right now.
that's clearly something he enjoys doing, which is cool. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna get greenlit now after the box office for this.
He's doing one of his other older franchises too.
What one?
His Marvel franchise.
what?
Yeah, Marvel movie.
Well, X-Men.
No. Hit Girl and stuff.
Oh, Kick-Ass.
Right. Yeah, because they're doing the reboot.
Now that is something I would like
Yeah.
to see.
Apparently
I
he's
will-
doing a new trilogy.
Cool.
Good.
I-
We're
I
supposed to have a
didn't-
trilogy for
now,
this
I didn't
one.
see Kick-Ass 2, and he didn't direct that one.
Right. It's supposed to come out next year, I think, the first one.
Oh, hell yes.
The first
Oh
one's
my God.
great. The
Yeah.
first Kick-Ass is so
Fucking
so
love
great.
it.
Yeah, I thought Argyle was really entertaining. There was some twist. I love Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell.
They have good
Okay,
chemistry.
okay.
Yes,
together, for
they have
sure.
very good chemistry.
Yeah.
The really big standout though, like obviously there was some cool stunts, but like the really big standout was the dancing shootout scene.
Was that with the like all the
With
smoke?
yeah, all
and
this
stuff?
different color smoke.
That was cool. This I don't know if this is considered a spoiler. The oil slick part.
Yeah.
I did not get into that at all.
No, I like the smoke scene better.
Yeah.
I will venture to say that might end up being one of my favorite movie scenes in terms of choreography and cinematography.
Yeah,
It's just so much fun.
there's parts of it that I did like, but overall, I think it was too long. It was just not paced very well. I think you cut the movie down to like an hour and a half. I think you have a really solid movie on your hand, a really fun, solid movie. In my opinion, it has no business being nearly 2.5 hours.
And I don't know if I mentioned it before. It was earlier, it was before we did our last episode. I've watched it twice now. Spider Within.
Oh yeah, that was
I
one thing
still
that
need
I
to watch
watched.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's on YouTube.
It's so
I-
good.
So
I loved
what
it.
Like what? So it's like a horror. Kind
It
of?
has
Psychological
horror.
horror.
Yeah, it has like horror elements. It's basically about him fighting his own anxiety. It's like fighting the.
He's having a psychotic break.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. How long is it?
7 minutes.
Yeah. It's not long at all.
It's interesting. Is this what their idea of a rain check is for how long the next Spider-Verse movie is
Maybe.
going to be delayed?
Well, I
Whenever
mean-
that comes out, which none of us know.
They've been talking about
It's
it.
definitely not going to be in the next 3 years. I'm telling you that.
Well, they'd been talking about releasing Spider Within around the same time that Across the Spider-Verse came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced
So-
it that same week.
Yeah,
I
so
guarantee you-
this isn't to make up for the lack of Beyond. It's just
I guarantee you, Beyond the Spider-Verse is not going to come out until at least after 2029.
there's been reports that it could be coming out next year.
There's no way.
No, there's been reports. I'm just saying.
Have they been working on it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they ever gave up working on it. It's just a bunch of the artists
Here's
left.
my thing. It took them 5 years in between Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm.
With how great Across was, I don't want them to rush this one.
Right.
No,
Is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as I know, script is done and they have started the animation already.
They have?
Yeah.
Because I know there was that drama going on about how the animators were treated
Yes,
across the
yeah.
Spider-Verse, and I don't wish that upon anyone. Really.
Right.
No.
No, regardless of how great the movie turned out, yeah, I don't think you should be doing that.
No.
Especially not. Maybe in the days of Kubrick that was okay, but now probably shouldn't do that. But
Well, it's.
I sincerely doubt that this movie Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming out next year, or 2026.
Well,
No.
the rumors are late 2025, summer 2026. That's the range that they're looking for. I think the entire reason why they're going for that is because right now Secret Wars is slated for 2027,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they want the next Spider-Man movie to come out either right before or right after the next Avengers movie, and they're
It's supposed to be
trying to
before.
they're trying to do a full crossover. So they're trying to rush both movies. It sounds like. Well,
Don't rush it.
they're
Don't rush it.
obviously trying to rush Spider-Man 4. That's already been talked about.
That's
But
starting to
it's-
film later this year.
Yeah,
The Tom Holland.
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, the next one.
Tom Holland is actually going to be the leader of the Avengers, apparently.
Really?
That's what I just seen it like yesterday.
That's my problem with this whole with Marvel right now. They don't like in the Infinity Saga, Iron Man and Captain America were the clear leaders.
Yeah.
Marvel
There's no
doesn't
clear
have a
leaders
clear
right now.
leader right now.
Make
And
it Captain
I
Marvel.
don't think Spider-Man is a great candidate for the leader of that.
I
just
think-
don't.
I think Sam should be.
No, Captain Marvel should be, but Captain Marvel should also be at heads
Captain
with
Marvel, judging off the box office, I don't think that's a great idea.
Sam. No, I think that's what they fucking
And
need
I
to do.
still have not seen the Marvels. That's how literal.
It's
that's
good.
How little
It's good. Don't
that's
let
how-
somebody
I
tell you
don't-
it's bad.
I
It's
just
good.
Don't care. I just don't care about it. I really don't.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah,
It's good. It's just it's not the best MCU movie, so go in with low expectations. Which I think everybody should go in with low
That's what I
expectations to
did.
every fucking movie
I
ever.
went in with no expectations, and I was okay with it. It's not my
just-
favorite.
Yeah.
I can see Captain Marvel as leader, though. I see exactly what you're saying with it.
Well, she was there for
I just
Endgame.
don't-
She was
I've never liked her characters.
she was the inspiration for the Avengers. Like she's been the one that we've seen the most in this new phase of the MCU. She has been, because we saw her in
We've
we saw her in
only seen
Endgame,
her
we saw her in
we've only
Marvels, we
seen
saw
her
her in Mrs. Marvel, and then on top of that, she had a cameo in Shang-Chi.
She did?
Yeah,
But
because she was there with Mark when Wong was like, "Hey, these rings that you have, like they're not of terrestrial origin; they're from outer space." And Captain Marvel was like, "Listen, I'll see what I can find out."
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she was in that scene because she was a hologram.
I forgot I brought about her cameos. I just don't feel like I just don't feel like people care enough. I certainly don't. I've never liked her, and that's not because I'm against Brie Larson or anything. Her character has never been interesting to me, even in Endgame. And clearly I wasn't interested in this latest Marvel's movie. I don't know.
I still think Sam, the new Captain America.
They
would
should be going
fine.
head to head. I think that's what they should do.
Obviously the Captain America role,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And he has the military training, so he has that experience of
yeah.
being a leader.
hmm And here's the thing: what I'm worried about with this next Captain America
Brave
movie,
New World, yeah.
I'm just hoping it doesn't make the same mistake that Multiverse of Madness did, where it relies on you watching a Disney Plus show to know what's going on.
It does, pretty much.
That's
What?
I feel like that's a huge.
The Falcon Winter Soldier show.
They need to, if they're going to make this movie, they need to fill in the gaps for people who haven't watched it, because that was a huge problem for a lot of people with Multiverse of Madness.
Because of WandaVision.
Literally, I was with a friend of mine seeing it when Multiverse of Madness came out, and he turned to me and was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like literally, like he was so confused, and I feel like a lot of people were too. So
Hold on. I'm just trying to organize everything. I don't think that people need to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier for this new Captain America movie.
I hope.
All you need to know is the fact that he's Captain America, which that has been broadcasted
Yeah.
across the entire fucking internet. So unless you've been living under a fucking rock,
And
you know
obviously-
he's the new Captain
And
America.
obviously, if you watched Endgame, the very end of Endgame,
Exactly,
Right.
it traded
you
off.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
I don't
basically
think
the
that
only
you
thing,
need to
yeah.
watch the show for it.
Right, that's basically the only thing I think that's going to factor in.
But Well, I have my own thoughts about Brave New World. I'm really worried about it because of
I'm
everything
worried-
that we've been
I'm
hearing.
worried about it too. I'm just being honest. But
Yeah. No. I know.
I'm not
I
saying
fully
it's
respect
not,
everything.
I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. I'm sure.
Well, yeah. No.
I'm sure
I
it has a
get
chance
you.
to be great.
No, I get you. It's just, to me, it's the, and I don't want to stay on this because honestly, I could talk a lot about it because I've talked a lot about it online because I've seen that kind of sentiment everywhere where it's like, oh, well, we shouldn't have to watch everything to understand a main entry, which on the one hand, I do understand. I get it. But when you're watching stuff from a franchise that is multimedia, you have no room to fucking complain if you didn't fucking watch something else. Example, Star Wars. People were complaining that they didn't watch Book of Boba Fett in between seasons 2 and 3 of Mandalorian. So they're like, wait, hold on. Season 2 ended with them being separated, and now that they're back together again? What the fuck is this? It's like, you didn't fucking watch the show that comes in between. And I can understand on the one hand that you didn't understand, that you didn't know that you needed to fucking watch it. Nobody expected Mandalorian to fucking pop up in Book of Boba Fett. But I don't think that anybody can be mad watching a multimedia franchise and be like, oh, well, I didn't watch these other things in the fucking multimedia franchise, only the fucking movies. So now I don't understand things. That's bad. No, you just didn't fucking watch something. That's on you. I'm sorry about you. You can't be mad about missing part of a franchise when you deliberately didn't watch part of the fucking franchise.
Okay, I see where you're coming from, but I disagree because
Okay.
everyone has been saying the same thing about Marvel. They're doing way too much.
Yes, I agree.
They're putting way too many shows out there.
Yes.
And the movies are being connected with those shows, and it's not working because Miss Marvel. I feel like most people had to watch Miss Marvel to get the Marvels, and it clearly didn't work.
I heard they're dialing back on it though.
Yes, they are.
They can, and that's good. But they can't be doing what they've been doing because everyone is kind of burnt out on them right now, and that's why they're taking a massive break. And same thing with Star Wars too. The numbers do not lie in terms of how the audience feels about something, because I don't care what you thought about season 3. Personally, I didn't like it that much. But what season 3 of Mandalorian, the numbers just went down and down and down on season 3. And same thing. I mean, I don't know how Ahsoka did. I think it did okay. But yeah, I mean, Marvel and Star Wars, they need to dial back. They either need to dial back on the amount of crap they're producing, or they need to make it more independent for the movie side and the TV side, because that is alienating people. That is alienating the general audience, and the general audience matters for both of them.
That's why I think with the TV side of Marvel, I think the TV shows are going to be like bonus features in a way.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't really matter to the main story as much.
It's great that you can play to the fans. That's great, and we expect that. But without that general audience appeal, you're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
I'm just saying, I feel like
Audiences make up a good chunk of the box office,
yeah,
the general audience.
It's not the hardcore fans the hardcore Star Wars fans that make the Star Wars movies billions of dollars. It's the general public that do that.
Because
The people who don't go to the movies as much as the people who go to the movies like we do, like every week or so.
Because the hardcore Star Wars fans probably only make, let's say, 20% up of the
That's
the
what
total
makes
box
something
office.
feel like an event where
Yeah.
you can draw in all these different groups of people.
I wouldn't say it's a counter.
Mhm.
My thing about the general audience's bit is streaming is such a big part of enjoying entertainment today.
Mhm.
I feel like general audiences who go to see movies like everything in the MCU probably fucking have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So even for those people who do have Disney Plus, where they're like, oh, well, I didn't see this thing, so I didn't get this. That's on you. You had Disney Plus, you didn't fucking watch it. I'm sorry about you. Again, you can't complain about missing something if you didn't fucking watch it. Like you can't. I'm sorry. I understand. I get it. Like there are great points arguing against that kind of thing. And I do agree. They should draw it back. They should make projects more isolated. That way those people who don't want to fucking watch everything don't have to.
The TV shows, if you don't want to watch TV shows.
Yes.
Because some people don't like TV.
Yes. And like I can agree that stuff should be dialed back. Like honestly, the amount of shit that Disney was trying to do with Disney Plus was fucking ridiculous. Yes.
It's insane.
But to me, you can't complain about not watching part of or not getting something because you didn't watch part of the fucking multimedia project that you've been enjoying for 10 fucking years. Especially when you had the fucking streaming service. I fucking watch it.
I just think the multimedia thing, we're not at that level where I think the multimedia thing where, there's going to be one story connected in movies and TV. I feel like we're not at that level. That ability to pay attention to all that stuff will grow over time because, streaming is still fairly infant, in the grand scheme of things.
Netflix has been around for a while, but everything else has just been like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney Plus is only 5 years.
Yeah, no, it'll be
HBO
5
Max
as of November.
HBO Max was 2021.
Yeah.
I just think we're not at the level yet where everyone can watch everything. Maybe we'll get there in the next decade or so. But
and DC's
as of
doing
right
that now too.
No, it's going to be a very gradual thing.
Yeah.
Where people will get used to that, and people just aren't used to it yet.
The James Gunn stuff is going to do that too with the DC.
Honestly, I feel like he's doing a better implementation of it, though.
Yeah.
Granted, he's starting out the universe, so you kind of have to take it slow. But
we'll see with that. But yeah, I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah, agreed.
Trivia question, real quick. I'm just gonna give up 5 points if whoever can get it. Which 1985 horror movie cut almost an hour and 10 minutes of footage? It went from 2.5 hours down to 87 minutes.
Man, what movies came out in 85?
Well, in 1985, for me is a very iconic year, like Back to the Future and Breakfast Club and all that. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I'm throwing Paul a bone here since it's 80s horror.
I can't think.
Was that a hint?
1985 horror. Did the movie did the American movie House come out in 1985 by chance? That might not be it at all.
I have no.
I'm kind of blanking, honestly.
I don't know what horror movies came out in 85, so
I honestly can't remember.
I'd have to see a list that I could pick from.
Did Friday the 13th Part 5 come out in 1985?
Well, I guess no, considering the fact that he's looking it
I'm
up.
looking it up, I don't know.
So it can't be the answer.
I guess.
Paul, you got it?
I can't remember which one it came out, but I think it was one of the Nightmare movies. Yeah.
Holy shit, was it Dream Warrior? No.
No,
what year
Nightmare
did Dream
2 would have come out in 85 because the first one came out in 84.
Wait.
Nightmare 2 is...
Are we allowed to ask clarifying questions?
To be fair, I feel like as long as we're not asking something specific, as long as it's like a broad question, because especially with this fucking question, because it was so last second.
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna scrap Nightmare as my answer.
Okay.
Because there was I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There was some kind of like haunted house movie that came out that year too. But I can't remember what it was called.
I also can't remember.
Can I look up a list of movies from 85? If you want to. Okay. And Garrett can see my phone to make sure I'm not clicking on anything to find it. Just
looking.
All right. Horror movies 1985. I'm also trying to not block the screen as much as I can. 1985.
Is that when Poltergeist came out?
No, that came out before.
And you want to ask about something that wasn't big because we fucking agreed on it.
Right.
Fuck. All right, well, I might see one right now. Okay. It's not that one because I've seen the trivia, or at least most of the trivia for that one.
I just It's not a franchise movie, is it?
There are a couple sequels.
Couple sequels. Fuck. There's okay.
I can't remember.
There's
the
two.
name
I
of
think
it.
it could be. There's
let's-
two.
Just pick one, and make that be your guess. I feel like just listing off a bunch of them will not get.
No, I'm not going to. That's why I haven't said anything.
Okay.
Fuck. I'm between two of them.
Is there one that's a haunted house one?
Nothing is saying haunted house.
Well, no, it wouldn't say haunted house. I can't remember what it's
I'm not
called.
recognizing a bunch of these. There were some pretty big ones that came out in '85,
Yeah.
but I'm not recognizing a bunch of these.
Because
Son of a bitch. I think it's one of these two. Because you said sequels. There is one on here where I could be like, okay, maybe I don't know this piece of trivia about this fucking movie, but it only made one sequel and then it had a reboot.
You can mention the two movies and you guys could discuss.
Is there a reboot for this movie?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So we're on one now.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going with The Return of the Living Dead. My other guess was Day of the Dead. If anybody wants to take that, you can.
That did come out in '85.
Yeah, that was my other guess.
We've guessed.
Okay. Nobody got it.
What was it?
Reanimator!
Was it Reanimator? I thought they only made one fucking sequel to it.
No, there's like two or three.
There's a couple.
Damn it!
Yeah.
That was going to be my fucking guess!
I love Reanimator too. I forgot it came out in '85.
The sequel thing threw me off so fucking hard because I know about Bride of the Reanimator, but I never heard about another fucking sequel.
There's also Beyond Reanimator, and I think there's one more.
Yeah.
God damn it! I could have gotten it. I was this fucking close.
So yeah, main
That's
discussion
stumping.
point. Epic, history, and fantasy movies.
Nice. So are we just like
Discussing them, yeah.
choosing one and
We could just discuss them in general.
well, it's kind of a interesting thing because I feel like most people when you bring up epic fantasy or historical movies,
Lord of the Rings gets mentioned for fantasy.
Lord of the Rings is like the first thing that gets
Yeah.
popped in your head, and I feel like that's the easy answer for something like that. And usually, because before the Lord of the Rings came out, the epic kind of like fantasy movie was like non-existent.
Mm.
And
It was more historical.
historical movies that had been big for I mean, they've always usually been big.
The first Napoleon movie was 5 hours and it came out in 27.
1927.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I did see I haven't seen it, but
I've not
been
watched it yet.
interested in watching.
They're doing a remastered 4K cut this year, and I believe it's 7.5 hours.
It'll be better than Ridley Scott's. No. But I think I mean historical movies. I mean some of the most iconic and recognizable movies of all time. Best Picture winners. I mean, in the 2000s and 90s. I mean, obviously you had Titanic, which was for a while the highest grossing film ever made. Then in 2000 you had Gladiator, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I still have not seen it.
God damn you!
I
You gotta
haven't
see it
either,
before
but I know a
the
whole
second
lot
one
of
comes
it,
out
so.
this
Yeah.
year.
I've got the DVD. Someone gave me the DVD. I just haven't watched it.
It is Gladiator, one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean it's based on history, but it also tells a fairly fictional story, and that's the thing.
Like
with
Ben-Hur.
What?
Like Ben-Hur does.
Yeah.
Which I was going to watch today to prepare because I've never seen it, but...
Yeah, I need to watch the original. I think I've seen a bit of the 2016 one, but that was bad.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I think yeah, Ben-Hur, one of the classic examples of like historical epics. I mean,
Ten Commandments.
there's countless historical epics that are, recognized today.
Ten Commandments was legendary back in the day.
Yeah. And I think Tenth Commandments, I think, was remade like 3 times, twice by the same director. The first time he did it, Cecil B. DeMille made he made an Asylum movie in that time period. But yeah, later on, I think I think we brought this up, so I won't bring that up again. Prince of Egypt, which tells basically the same story, and I consider that just as good as Ten Commandments.
I would consider that like an animated epic.
Yeah.
In a way. What?
I mean,
Garrett, for a second, I thought you were going to say Prince of Persia. I was like, hold on for a
yeah,
second.
totally happened. Yeah. Yeah, Sands
It was like my
Sands of
first
Time
thought.
was a biopic.
Going with the
That
Ten
ass
Commandments.
man.
Going with the Ten Commandments, I would say it's smaller in scale, but I would kind of say the Passion of the Christ is an epic.
That's the only one that I had on my list that I was going to mention.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I've already talked about Gladiator. Some of Martin Scorsese's films, like, because some of them are based on history,
Right.
like The Irishman. You can count it as a historical epic.
Gangs of New York too.
Yep. I mean, he's got a bunch of them.
Hold on. I don't want this to, like, hurt our viewers or our listeners. Come on. Clip before this fucking
He's
thing goes off.
I think he just unplugged his mic, and he's got a soda box for Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
There's a bug on it.
There's a bug on it.
Fuck you.
That was the most unorthodox way to do that.
I don't.
You couldn't just do it with your
I didn't
hand.
want to do it with my hand.
You putz. Jesus Christ, dude. Man, sometimes I wish you guys could just magically pan the camera over to look at him when he's doing some of this shit.
Just one of those slow zoom.
Like,
Hey,
not even us panning it. Like, just the camera itself just magically does it on its own.
Well, I am planning on getting, like, an actual full-on fucking mask. That way I can be shown on camera. So my antics could be seen one day. I just have to afford the mask.
I think eventually we should hire someone to like actually run the camera so we could like pan and stuff.
One day. We'll get there.
$1,000. I need $1,000 right now.
We still gotta get the Patreon set up.
Yeah. And something else.
2 weeks from now, we're setting it up.
Same for the other thing.
Yeah.
You're serious about that?
Yeah, I'm very serious because we've been talking about it since like last September.
No, we've been talking about the Patreon since like the 3rd week of us doing the podcast.
Yeah, we are doing it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to historical epics. I think because Gladiators, in my personal favorite films of all time, I'd say that's my personal favorite like historical epic of all time. I mean, another one I'd like to mention is, and one of my favorites. I know we talked about Revenant in an episode.
The cinematography episode.
The cinematography one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. I don't know. Honestly, I can't think of any other one. Gladiator is like the first thing that kind of pops in my mind, like of historical epics. So
A movie set farther back in time, but not really far, like 90s. Could that be kind of considered a historical epic? Because it came out
I
came out like 2010.
Which one is that?
Blood Diamond.
That's a good point. But we also have to discuss the term epic, because epic is probably the most overused word of all time.
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably something large scale story.
A large scale story, in my opinion, like something that spans like a long period of time. Now I remember Braveheart.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Braveheart, of course, William Wallace. That is what I consider
Yes.
an epic.
Yeah. I didn't care for it too much.
You're not a Braveheart guy.
No. I watched it
I love Braveheart.
I think it's a really good, well-made movie. It's just not for me.
Something's going on. Oh, passing that.
Yeah,
Passing
I was gonna say
passing
I ain't throwing it.
voltage
Don't worry
around.
about it.
I was gonna say that'll be quite the shock.
Jesus
Damn it!
Christ.
363.
Okay, that actually did take some thought. So
Yes, it did.
go ahead and put that on there. But yeah,
I'm not opposed to a shot right now.
I said shock.
Oh. I thought you said shot.
Someone's rather blue today.
Just like this can of Mountain Dew.
That's totally not sponsored.
Yeah, not
We
sponsored
are not yet sponsored by Mountain Dew Voltage.
yet.
We're not sponsored by anybody yet. If you want to sponsor us, get a hold of us.
BK, I'm looking at you.
Fantasy, like his fantasy epics. I mean, Lord of the Rings is. It's kind of hard.
It's the example.
I'd say
I
Harry
mean,
Potter
it is-
kind of is too.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
and-
more.
and
That's more the journey of it.
But
across,
that's
like, all
something that,
seven.
Like has. I don't know if that's something. It's not just one film though.
Right.
Like it's like 8 films.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, yeah. Other than like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, it's kind of hard to think of one that really sticks out in your mind.
Right.
Like those two do.
Lord of the Rings is the go-to though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that will ever be changed. I mean, would Dune? I feel like Dune recently. I feel like,
Dune is more the sci-fi epic.
but
Yes.
Dune. But would you consider Dune also? I mean, fantasy can be
No.
almost anything.
I would
Fantasy
not.
doesn't just tie itself down to like dragons and wizards and all that.
I would not say that Dune is fantasy. Star Wars is fantasy. Dune is science fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dune has more of a hard science element.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
I would agree
that's
with
where
that.
it is. Like
Yeah.
there is mysticism in Dune, so I can see where
A
you're
little
coming
bit.
at.
But Star Wars is more fantasy than Dune is.
Yes,
Yeah.
way more. So that I think that should be the distinction between the two. Is
Fantasy
that's-
is kind of a hard genre to like really jot down at what makes it fantasy because
Right.
I mean, fantasy is I mean I'm gonna look it up.
Done
right now.
better, one could argue Aragon.
Man.
Done better.
That
I was-
movie sucked though. That movie sucks so bad.
For what it was, I remember enjoying it when I was a kid.
As
When
a
I was
good
a
for
kid.
what it
but,
was.
like
Yeah, I agree.
The Narnia movies.
Narnia.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Narnia is also good.
I've not seen them, but
If Aragon would have been done better, it would easily be in this conversation.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah.
Those would be considered fantasy epics.
Yeah.
They're large scale and
Yeah,
stuff.
fantasy, according to Google, the best source of information, faculty or activity of imagining things, especially things that are impossible or improbable. I mean, that's
Spiderwick Chronicles,
very
perhaps?
That's like
That's a
every
very-
fictional movie ever.
it's just fiction that exists in a realm of reality that is recognizable. I mean, and also, would you consider with that definition Dune fantasy, or would you still stick with your sci-fi thing?
I still stick with what I said
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too.
because of the very small amount of mysticism in there. If I wouldn't.
Because fantasy, science fiction revolves around a lot of times technology and
Yeah, and
stuff
Dune
like that.
relies more on that than Star
Less
Wars
on
does.
magic.
Star Wars is all about space wizards, and they
Yeah.
literally they call Jedi space wizards in Star Wars.
The-
Dune has more of a religious aspect to
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I
more
think that's
religion
the-
than mysticism.
Yes.
But obviously you guys, some of us are fairly, others would consider that
Yeah.
fantasy.
Yeah. I understand.
But yeah, I get that. But what do you think about that? Like something that does qualify as fantasy.
Yeah, about Dune, like, yeah, I definitely see it. Some people say religion as mysticism, but like, it follows more of like a typical religious element. I'd feel like Star Wars is more stuff that could be considered fantasy to the general audience too. I feel like Dune is rooted enough in religion that it feels believable.
Because
Even
Star
if-
Wars,
yeah.
the Force, by all and large, is magic.
Right.
And I think magic is like the key in what people consider
Fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
in science fiction, most of the time it's technology, something that every humans are reliant on technology.
Yeah.
So I feel like when that element is placed in there, that's where people call something science fiction versus fantasy.
Since we're on this, I would save it for the science fiction episode. I'll repeat it in the science fiction episode in case people don't listen to this one. I'd say the three big elements of what make up science fiction are technology, space, and religion. Because how many science fiction movies is there? The Messiah, the One, the Redeemer.
That is true.
Yeah, I feel like those are the three big elements that make sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's a combination of either space and technology, space and religion, blah blah blah. I feel like that's what makes sci-fi.
And religion, a lot of people, and there's a lot of science in religion too. So yeah. And fantasy, I feel like also relies on
suspension of belief.
Yes, really, because in true fantasy, there's almost nothing real about it. But I think what made Lord of the Rings such a phenomenon, and still is a phenomenon, is when it got adapted to film, and obviously there were animated films.
The Hobbit in the 70s.
Yeah.
The thing that was supposed to save the license.
But there was, in, I think, 1977, Ralph Bakshi made an animated Lord of the Rings movie. And a lot of people really, that is a huge fan base.
We're getting a new Lord of the Rings movie this year, an animated one.
Oh, yeah. What was it called again?
Wars of Rohirrim or something?
Rohirrim. Is Peter Jackson doing it?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
It comes out in November.
Is he?
I believe so.
I just hope he goes back to his instincts with the Lord of the Rings trilogy and not the Hobbit trilogy. That's all I'll say.
I need to rewatch both.
I've
only watched the Hobbit once.
I don't hate the Hobbit movies as much as a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
Desolation of Smaug, I think, is a pretty damn good movie, like from beginning to end.
I don't like the frame rate though; it's weird.
I mean, isn't that something though you could have only saw in the theater?
No,
or
you can notice it on a bigger screen.
Because
with the
I feel
Blu-ray.
like the home video releases are just in the 24 frame.
No, I think it's still in the other frame. Because I've noticed something funky, like when I was watching
Maybe
it.
I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What do you got, Dylan?
War of Rohirrim. Honestly, I've never heard it fucking pronounced. So whatever it is, we've said the title like 3 or 4 fucking times.
We don't know.
Don't even say it again.
Yeah.
It's not by Peter Jackson. It's by Kenji Kamiyama.
What has he directed?
Here, let me see.
Oh no, Peter Jackson's doing the Silmarillion.
Yes, I remember seeing something about that. Fuck. It looks like he's a bigger writer than a director.
It's not a name that pops in my head. What has he written?
Okay. So he's worked on Star Wars Visions. He's worked on animated Ghost in a Shell in recent years. A animated Blade Runner show, Black Lotus.
Yeah, that's on Netflix.
Yeah, he both wrote and directed that.
HBO Max. I mean, I've not watched it yet.
He's dude, he's worked on a lot of Ghost in the Shell shit. Holy crap!
Did he work on the original movie, like the anime one?
I don't think.
Hopefully not.
It doesn't look like it.
Hopefully not the live action one.
It looks like it started with an anime in 2002 called Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. That's where it all started for him. It looks like.
Speaking of Blade Runner, I cannot wait for the TV show to end the trilogy.
Yep. But yeah, going back to historical epic. I mean, obviously it has to be in a farther like it. I usually qualify historical as in like a decade other than the current one that it takes place in. Like I even consider one that takes place in like the 80s or 90s historical epic. If depending on what it is. Obviously, I would say historical epic needs to take place in or have some basis in a true story, or something a historical context in which something real did actually happen.
Yeah.
Because that's what Gladiator did. Obviously, not everything in that movie revolving around Maximus did actually happen.
Same with Ben-Hur.
Not in, at least not in the way that it may have happened in that period. It still has that going for it. I mean, what do we think?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, like
I mean, yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Makes sense.
because that's how Ben-Hur is. It's a fictional retelling of actual events.
Yeah.
I believe.
Have you already said what your favorite historical epic is?
Historical. I'd say the Passion of the Christ is probably my favorite historical, because Ten Commandments is a lot larger scale, but like, I feel like it was really well done for the time, but it definitely has aged a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Right.
something that you're not a big fan of.
What?
Like old movies.
Nosferatu is one of my favorite movies.
I know, but a lot of older movies you are not a fan of.
Right, like 70s is like my kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
In terms of fantasy, obviously Lord of the Rings, like that's the go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pirates of the Caribbean, like I feel like that's a really good one that probably would get overlooked in the discussion a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
the entire first trilogy is an epic in and of itself.
That's first three.
I really like Curse the Black Pearl.
Yes.
Yes.
I like Dead Man's Chest enough. I can't care for any of the others.
You don't like At World's End either?
No.
At World's End
I've
seems
never
to be-
liked it even when I was a kid, when I first saw it, because it's so, well, obviously, epic. I feel like any movie that is to be qualified as an epic needs to have a runtime that's like over two and a half hours to be considered that.
At World's End is 2:45 or something.
God, it felt longer than that. Every time I've tried to watch it, I just get bored out of my mind. And that's one of those movies that really feels way more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of all the characters it introduces, because of all these subplots. It's so bloated. An interesting. Here's something would we consider while Peter Jackson's on our mind.
I've got
King
one.
Kong.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Because that would qualify both as a historical epic and also a fantasy epic.
Yes, because and it's
it's 3 hours.
Theatrical cuts 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm.
The extended cuts
That's
like 3:30.
That's another movie. I really like King Kong.
Okay, you
Peter
do?
Jackson one. I
Okay,
do.
I didn't know.
I feel like it's too long though.
Yeah.
That didn't need to be.
Yeah, I was
3
just about to
hours.
prepare you. I was like, I think you don't like this movie, but
there's a lot in the Peter Jackson movie that can be cut down.
on the
But like King Kong, like on a technical aspect for a movie that came out in 2005.
yes,
I mean, the effects on Kong still hold up.
Mm.
I mean, I think the actors all do a great job in that film.
that's one of those movies where if the biggest screen possible,
Yeah.
if you have the
I
means
saw
of it,
that because
yeah,
that came out in 2005. I fondly remember seeing that on the big screen when I was that age. That was
I wish I could.
that was an intense. That got intense for a 5-year-old me watching that.
First movie I ever saw in theaters was Fantastic Four.
The 2005 one.
It was supposed to be Revenge of the Sith.
I didn't get to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters.
Gonna get a chance next month.
Yep, May 5th.
Yeah. That
I
will
took
be
off the entire
only-
weekend.
That will be the only one of the prequels I will willingly watch on the big screen.
Understandable. That seems to be the most beloved of the prequels.
Yes,
as
easily.
a general consensus.
Attack of the Clones.
Don't speak a whole lot bad about Attack of the Clones. I'll defend it
What will you defend about it?
because isn't one of your main issues about it the dialogue?
That was John's issue.
Was it
terrible,
John's?
The terrible romantic dialogue.
No, it wasn't bad.
The,
It wasn't.
I get the whole sand thing. That's something. I mean, it's brought up every time you bring up Attack of the Clones. It's funny, but is it actually good dialogue?
Yes.
Though? I don't know.
Yes. Okay.
It's-
Okay.
Now I feel the same way about that kind of thing that I do about Spider-Man 3 with the whole emo Peter thing, because as
Don't be
memeable,
dissing on Bully McGuire.
now I'm talking like on an objective level, not on a subjective level. Yes, like something like we're going off on a tangent on this. The whole emo Peter thing. I get it. It's memeable. It's funny, and it's the main thing people remember about Spider-Man 3. But does it actually make sense for the story in the rest of the movie? Because in my opinion, it really doesn't. Because that movie is a hot mess, and it,
Can I justify it?
Sure.
Now, what I'm about to say is just my personal opinion, okay?
Okay.
But
Just goes, fuck you.
No. I think that you have valid points with it. My response would be, and I'm not saying it was done well, because it wasn't, but my understanding is that they were trying to demonstrate how the symbiote was affecting Peter.
Here's I get that, and here's my point. Before I saw, because I obviously a big Spider-Man fan growing up, the first time I was introduced to the Black Suit symbiote storyline was the animated series, because that was very tied to the comic. The comic really, in the animated show, the thing that I remember most about the Black Suit storyline was that dream scene, or the nightmare scene that Peter has before he gets enveloped by it, where it's the normal spider, like it's two giant Spider-Mans, one, the normal one, and the other, like the black dark one. I feel like with Sam Raimi doing that would have been so far up his wheelhouse. Now, and imagine, coming from, someone of his talent with horror, the whole the emo Peter thing is really the best we could have gotten from Sam Raimi.
No.
Storyline?
That was the studio. The studio fucked up Spider-Man 3. Sam
Yeah,
Raimi
yeah.
had a lot of different
And
plans
he
for
didn't
it.
even want to do Venom at all. And he didn't even like doing that at all. And he was forced to.
Venom was not needed in Spider-Man 3.
No.
If it had just focused on Sandman or the Harry thing, it would have been better, in my opinion. Yeah. That's just a tangent.
Would you say that because of that reasoning, Spider-Man 3 suffered just as much as Amazing Spider-Man 2? Because I feel like it's an overabundance of
Studio interference.
In studio
Both
interference.
movies, I feel like, suffer from the same problem.
Yeah. Okay. I was just interested in that. No, the Attack of the Clones thing. What I will say to defend the dialogue in it, because the biggest fucking complaint about Attack of the Clones is the dialogue when they're on Naboo. Where Anakin's being a fucking creepazoid, where he's not really knowing how to flirt and all this other stuff. And people are like, oh, well, that's bad dialogue, or that's bad acting. No, that's on fucking point dialogue, and that's on point fucking acting. Because how else do you expect this 19-year-old man who has been fantasizing about this girl for the longest fucking time, hasn't seen her in 10 fucking years, which they say in the movie, he doesn't have anybody to go to ask, like, hey, how do I hit on chicks? Like, Obi-Wan is such a character where it's part of the downfall of the Jedi Order, and they kind of bring it up in the Attack of the Clones a little bit, where when he's talking to Padme at one point, Padme's like, well, aren't you guys not allowed to love somebody? He's like, well, they can encourage compassion, so I would say that is a certain level of love. And it's true that the Order doesn't want you loving people. Like, it's fine if you go have sex with somebody, but the second that you have that attachment, that's where there's a fucking issue. So he can't even talk to anybody about having this attachment to her at 19 years, being in the fucking Order for 10, especially since they didn't even want to bring him into the fucking Order. So he has to hide that. So when he's left alone with her, just nobody around, like, he's trying to flirt with her. And she's trying to flirt with him, too, because he's picking up these fucking vibes. So, get all those fucking reasonings where he doesn't know how to talk to girls, he has had no chance whatsoever to practice, let alone get advice, and the fact that he hasn't seen her in 10 years, he's horny as fucking shit. Like, it makes perfect sense why the dialogue is the way that it is. And Hayden Christensen makes it fucking cringe for that fucking reason alone. And it continues all throughout. And one of my favorite parts about that movie is the confession in front of the fireplace between Anakin and Padme. You could say that that's bad dialogue too, but it's not. It's Shakespeare. That's exactly how Shakespeare wrote
That
his
is
shit.
bold, dude.
No,
I'm
I fucking mean it.
serious. I'm
I will
serious,
go.
that is bold.
I will die on this fucking hill. It's fucking Shakespeare. I won't say anything else in the fucking movie Shakespeare. I won't.
Comparing George Lucas's writing to Shakespeare.
That scene right there. Yes, I will.
Now,
I will. Because look at the language that he uses. Look at how he delivers his lines. Look at all of it. It's Shakespeare. It has Shakespeare written all fucking over it. And that is a agreed upon statement in the Star Wars fandom.
I love your passion for the prequels. I really do, and every time you get into it, I'm blown away. But, I don't know if I asked this before, but can you at least be on the same level with me that Lucas? And I'm not saying anything bad about Lucas at all. I think he's a genius. Would you agree with me that he's a better world builder than a director and writer? Yes,
I agree with that. I don't think that the prequel trilogy is perfect. There are a lot of people who do for some fucking reason.
I've never, even as a kid, I just was not into them in the same sense that I was with the original trilogy.
Well, I mean, look at the original trilogy. Yes, George Lucas helped with the story for it, but he didn't direct neither Empire nor Return. And then a lot of the good ideas that came about in Empire and Return, and even some in New Hope, didn't come from him. It came from his fucking wife or Carrie Fisher. So he's not the best writer. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he's fucking genius all the fucking time. But he was fucking cooking with Attack of the Clones and with Revenge of the Sith.
I need to remember.
Revenge of the Sith more so than Attack of the Clones. But I won't fucking stand by and say that Attack of the Clones has bad dialogue, because it doesn't. If there's any bad dialogue in Attack of the Clones, it's from fucking Obi-Wan. I'll die on that fucking hill.
I need to remember to start making popcorn before episodes.
So you, I kind of see. So you think you agree that there is some bad dialogue in Attack of the Clones, but
it's
romance,
not what people think.
Okay, I see. Like, so you're more fond of the romance than a lot of people are in Attack of the Clones.
Well, no, okay. I feel like when everybody talks about bad dialogue about Attack of the Clones, they think Anakin. Like, they just fucking do. Like the sand thing, like you said. Like, that's one of people's first fucking thoughts about Attack of the Clones is that scene. But nobody thinks about Obi-Wan. Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Didn't you get my message? I told you to keep her safe. Well, she wanted to come here, blah, 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 blah. We came to save you. Good job. I just, it's, if we had to talk about bad dialogue, it's Obi-Wan. He's given like fucking nothing except for when it comes, except for his fucking mission. And even on his fucking mission, when he's like, oh, well, this planet doesn't fucking exist. I'm spacing on the librarian's name. I feel bad. It's like right there. Well, I fucking love Star Wars. I really do. It's one of the few things where I can remember a lot of... Yeah, no, total shocker.
You're totally alone on this. No one in the entire world has the same level of appreciation that you do as Star Wars.
Yeah, nobody check out my Twitter. You'll find me to be a liar. I just, it's... a lot of Obi-Wan scenes aren't great.
No,
I mean, look at the fucking scene where he's suspended and Dooku comes in to be like, oh, what's happened and blah, 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 blah. Dooku straight up fucking tells him, hey, there are fucking Sith helping the Republic. They are in charge of the fucking Republic. Like, dude, open your fucking eyes. Even if you don't come with me, fucking look at this. And Obi-Wan's like, no, you're dumb. No, like, you can't tell me that little fucking sequence is better than anything with fucking Anakin. You can't. Like, yes, I will say that there is some bad dialogue in Attack the Clones, but it's not the fucking dialogue everybody complains about.
Yeah, people, even in good romance movies, people just have a problem with, I guess more people are just weirded out about romance than, anything else. But
yeah,
I think that's part of the reason why. But yeah, even,
I think more people are weirded out about romance more than sex.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I could stand behind that one.
People just even I'm kind of like picky about romantic dialogue in movies. Even I love. There's very few exceptions where I can really buy it. It all has to do with. I think part of the reason I don't like the romance in the prequels is I just don't think Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman have a good chemistry.
Yeah.
I never felt it in any of the movies. I never did. And I feel like that's such an essential element to believing that a couple or characters that are a couple. And I feel like that was a failure on that end. And maybe not all of it is due to the dialogue. It's just the level the actors were portraying it. So yeah. And neither of them are bad actors at all.
No.
Yeah.
I will say, I think the most chemistry that you see between Anakin and Padme is in Attack of the Clones. It is when they're on Naboo. Because it's when it's just them. They don't have to worry about any other fucking storyline up until they have to leave for Tatooine. I think that's where you see the most chemistry. Because after that, you really just see her fall out of a fucking gunship. You see them fight in the arena. Which, like, their intro into the arena is the other part of the chemistry that I think a lot of people miss.
Right.
Because it's when she's like, I loved you. I love you. I've always loved you. I forget exactly what she says.
If we're gonna die right now, I want you to know that.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
She was like, I kissed you.
I truly, deeply love you.
Yeah.
How do I remember and you don't?
I don't know. I'm thinking a lot about it. I'm thinking a lot about the motivations and not
Should
not
we
on
revoke
anything
a
else.
Star Wars card?
What?
I think
Fuck
we
you.
should.
Fuck you. I've been declared the fucking expert on this damn podcast. I will fist fight anybody for that title.
I don't
No,
know.
you
Should
got
we
it.
revoke it?
But it's just she's like
John's the new expert on Star Wars.
because it parallels what Anakin says to Padme, where Anakin's like, "I'm haunted by the kiss that you never should have given me," and she shadows that on the intro on their intro into the arena on Geonosis. They kind of shadow that where she's like, "It's not that I didn't care about you. I really do love you. I've been trying hard not to, but I can't anymore, and I need you to know that."
Before we go further down the rabbit hole, let's do a second Star Wars episode so we can continue this.
Yeah, I was about to back out, so
Okay.
I'd love to.
I wasn't gonna try to keep going. And I'm sorry. I just
Before the episode's up over 3 hours.
yeah.
The passion for Star Wars in you just had to erupt.
Listen, I heard something coming in about Attack of the Clones, and I had to say something preemptively. Yeah.
I had to hear it. I had to hear you say it.
You know, I love talking about Star Wars, and I would love for us to do more Star Wars stuff.
Mhm.
But I do agree with the fans of the show that we should also do a bunch of other sci-fi stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I just any chance that I can get to express understated parts of Star Wars, I would fucking love to. And that's one of the things that I think is really understated is Attack of the Clones.
You need to
Okay.
prepare yourself, though. We are doing the Star Trek episode like we've talked
Yeah.
about. There's another big science fiction franchise that I think we should do well, there's 2 franchises, but we'll do them together. Alien and Predator.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I got one half of that covered.
Yeah, you've seen all the Predator movies.
Yeah, I
so
fucking love Predator.
Yeah.
You still gotta make your way through the Alien movies.
Yeah.
Is there any
I haven't
other
fucking touched
fantasy
it.
or
Now,
historical?
here's something.
I thought Jurassic Park, the first one, could be considered a fantasy.
Well, that's still. I consider Jurassic Park
more
is
science
rooted
fiction.
in science.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I
I
could see
wouldn't
that. Yeah,
consider that fantasy.
yeah, I could see more
Um,
science. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Here's something. Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar. Would you consider that more fantasy than sci-fi? I mean, the human side is very technological, but I mean, the Na'vi and
Yeah, it's
the
kind of
movies
like a
have-
Pocahontas type deal.
I
It-
would
it-
consider that more magical. So in a way, I feel like Avatar is like the
It's like
perfect-
right on
it's
the line.
the
Yeah, like
perfect
Star Wars.
combination of both fantasy and sci-fi.
I
Yeah,
feel like
like-
it's more on the line than Star Wars, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Because there's way more wizards
There's
in Star Wars.
it's magic. It's magic and technology kind of mixing together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd say it could be considered both. Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I need to rewatch Way of Water too. I fell asleep during that too.
Did you only watch it one time?
Yeah, I watched it in
Same.
the theater.
I saw it 3 times in theaters. I think both I went to the State Museum to see it in the 3D.
I scare my best friend when we watch movies with jump scares. She doesn't like jump scares.
Uh-huh.
And I fall asleep. She had the perfect opportunity to like elbow me in the side or something, scare the crap out of me, and she didn't.
Well, that's mean.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, can we think of any other fantasy like
I can't think of any.
like epic fantasy? Because obviously,
I can think of some on
how
the drama
many-
side when we do that episode, but like I
how
can't
many
think of.
like how many like of those young adult movies? Like I don't really consider any of those like what was the one like Mortal Instruments?
Yeah.
or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, that
Oh.
I don't consider that epic at all. Percy Jackson.
On the historical side, what about some like World War I and World War II movies?
Well, yeah. I mean, those are easy to go to as well. Like
Glorious
any of those.
bastards.
That is fantasy. That is historical epic fantasy.
It counts as an epic though. Like
The amount of liberties with that. Yeah, that
I
is
want 100 Nazi scalps.
and just the way that movie ends.
Yeah, 100%.
I have not watched in
But
ages.
I need to rewatch it. It's only been like a year for me, but
Would Once Upon a Time in Hollywood be considered a historical fantasy
I mean,
epic?
in the same way that Inglourious Bastards is.
It fits into the historical
yeah.
fantasy. Yeah.
it's damn near every Tarantino
That's
movie.
I call it that should just be called Tarantino fantasy.
Yeah. Django Unchained, Hateful
Yeah.
Eight.
Yeah, I mean, it really is hard to deem what is fantasy and what is not.
Right.
Is the point that we're trying to make here?
Hacksaw Ridge for historical epic.
Yeah, I mean, again, World War II movie and
Yeah.
based on a real event. Was Saving Private? I know Saving Private Ryan was based on a book, right?
I believe so.
But was that actually a true story? Was that just something in a book?
I don't know.
I thought it was a true story.
I've actually never seen that either.
I feel like if it was based on a true event, that it's very loose with it.
Yeah.
And you've never seen Saving Private Ryan?
No.
Oh my god, dude. Ooh.
I'm not big into war movies at all.
But you like Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah.
Watch Saving Private Ryan. Give it a
Okay.
try. Yeah.
What do you got going?
Without Saving Private Ryan, you wouldn't have Hacksaw Ridge.
Okay.
I do have one that I'm going to throw out, but before I do, Band of Brothers, which is a miniseries, I believe.
Yeah.
I would consider that a historical epic because that's also based on a true story, I believe, and it's a big enough story that I think that it qualifies.
What are historical movies? What are examples of historical movies that you wouldn't call epics? Now,
Lincoln.
you wouldn't call that epic.
I wouldn't call Lincoln.
I wouldn't
an
call
epic,
that
no.
an epic either.
Lincoln versus zombies.
Abraham Lincoln,
Now-
Vampire Hunter. Yeah.
I would call epic historical fantasy. I mean,
I fucking love that
doesn't
movie. I love that
like,
book.
Take place over like almost all of his life.
Yeah.
Like, it goes from him as a kid. Maybe
I don't
maybe
remember
that
it.
can be called an epic. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't
Honestly,
remember it.
I could agree with that.
Wait, okay, because I remember, because I definitely saw Lincoln, the Spielberg one, in the theater. Didn't Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Lincoln the Spielberg one came out the same year?
Yes.
2014?
Yes, yeah.
No, 2012.
Oh yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those came out the same time.
Yeah.
I think they were like a month apart.
Because that really confused me as a 13-year-old because I remember seeing all the advertising for Vampire Hunter, and then I looked over one day after that came out. I was like, "Huh, is that a different poster for Vampire Hunter?" And I was like, "Oh,
Go to that
no,
show and be like, "Oh man,
that's a Spielberg movie." No, oh shit.
can't wait to see a vampire bloodfest in this." And you said the entire Lincoln movie
It's
like,
played by the
"Hold
guy
on."
It's played by I drink your milkshake.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it.
Well,
Like, I can't-
no,
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I wouldn't call Lincoln. I love Spielberg's Lincoln. I think it's an amazing movie, but I wouldn't call it an epic just because I feel like it takes place over a fairly short amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically just goes from one moment. It goes from Lincoln's conception of the 13th Amendment and then it getting passed and then ends with his death.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that's a long enough time like spent to qualify as an epic. And
Same with Passion of the Christ in a way.
in a lot of and I also wouldn't call like going into like historical movies. I mean, with all the musical artist biopics we've been getting.
Yeah.
There's only a few of those I wouldn't. There's only a few of those I would actually call epics.
The Elvis one probably.
That I would call epic
Yeah.
because that is a large time period. That is a large time, spent, and that movie is very long too.
This might be controversial to some people.
What?
In terms of musical, Straight Outta Compton.
I wouldn't call that an epic. I love that movie. I wouldn't call that
because it did
an
last
epic.
over like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, personally, I wouldn't say that's an epic. But yeah,
It's just a large scale movie. Yeah.
it is a large scale movie for sure.
There was one more movie that I wanted to throw out there. And I know you guys are going to initially disagree with me.
Hmm.
But based on the original definition of epic, which is a hero taking on a journey that puts them through their full development, like
Yeah.
it's like The Hobbit, it's Bilbo's epic.
Yeah,
That entire trilogy is the epic of Bilbo. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is an epic because of that.
Mm.
The reason why is because Scott is faced with this difficult task, kill 7 evil exes. It sends him across this journey of both self-discovery, because he is a fucking piece of shit in that fucking movie. It's him trying to learn to not be a piece of shit.
Not jump through windows.
Yeah. It introduces enough conflict to justify an epic. Not only that, but I would qualify it as a fantasy epic on top of it because of a prime example being the fight or the battle of the bands between the twins and Sex Bombs. Because they have the Avatar's material behind them, and they blow the fucking roof off because of the Avatars that are fighting, and the Avatars fighting leads to the twins dying because the Sex Bombs, Scott Pilgrim, defeated them. So it's an epic in the same kind of way that books like the Odyssey are an
I
epic.
was about to bring that Homer's Odyssey.
Yes.
That isn't that long of a story, really, isn't it? Like it's
My copy is.
how long, like page length, your copy?
Oh, fuck, like 400 pages maybe?
Yeah, I mean that is like the prime example of like a literary like epic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of also movies that are very much go by the structure of Homer's Odyssey.
Yes, yeah.
One of these, and now that you bring it up, I would qualify as a historical epic. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Because that is basically Homer's Odyssey, just told in the the Great Depression time.
Yeah.
I would call that an epic in that definition. And also, I actually started watching this again recently. The first SpongeBob movie. That technically is
Fuck.
that technically is based
right.
on a lot of Homer's Odyssey. It has a Cyclops in it.
Right,
Has a few other things that, an animated
God
epic.
damn it.
And SpongeBob has to go through that whole, development of becoming a man and becoming manager.
I have never
So
thought of the SpongeBob movie being a fucking
that's
epic.
Does that mean Lion King is too?
I would say that too.
Yeah,
I would call that an epic too.
I could agree with that.
But
yeah.
that's-
Maybe Jungle Book too.
But again, this is historical. I
Those
mean,
could
there
be
are a
fantasy.
lot of animated epics,
Yeah.
too. But yeah, that's all I got for.
That's all my thoughts.
Any more, Paul?
thoughts, Scott Pilgrim?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, we will be back next week for drama and horror epics. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Make sure to share, give us a rate,
Give us feedback.
give us feedback, whether it's good or bad. We can take it.
Yeah, we'll listen to whatever you got to say.
We've been doing a lot of new things, and I think it's been helping us out a lot, and giving you guys more value for your time. And we truly do value your opinions here.
Yes.
Truly send them our way, and we'll take care of them the best we can. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back next week for that. We've got a new TV review coming up soon. Dark Matter on Apple TV, another sci-fi show.
When are we doing Fallout?
I still need to watch Fallout.
I'm not gonna watch it for a while. So if you want to,
Why? We can talk about it
yeah,
later.
I'll tell you later. You can do it if you want. Like, I just don't want to hear spoilers.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, so don't
Yeah.
worry. I don't really have any fucking spoilers.
But yeah, next week we also got our Abigail review.
Oh yes.
Oh, fuck, I forgot Abigail was coming out.
I'm probably gonna see that on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna try to.
We got that next week. In a few weeks we got the Fall Guy review.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
And there's the week after Abigail. Let me check the release calendar. There's one movie with Bill. There's that new Bill Skarsgård movie. Boy Meets Something.
Boy Kills World.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
looks
it looks
a lot of
good.
fun.
Yeah, it does.
And it got a lot of buzz at South by Southwest. There was another movie that was coming out the 26th.
The Crow.
that comes out in June.
I know.
I'm not hating on that movie like everyone else is. I want to at least give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. I understand a lot of the criticisms
But
about
I feel
it,
like
but
the criticisms,
I'm trying to feel open.
The criticisms that it was getting was before even the trailer came
Yeah,
out.
it was the first
It was
look of Bill
inevitable.
Skarsgård. Yeah.
I know John and I are probably gonna go see Unsung Hero.
What is that?
It's about it's another Christian music movie. It's about the
Oh.
For King and Country band. It's their like journey to becoming a.
That disrespectful song.
Oh.
But the actual song is used in the movie.
It better be.
Now I remember Challengers, that new Zendaya movie comes out in April.
Yes, I want to
which
fucking see that.
The reviews are coming out which are pretty much all universally praising it.
Good.
And,
I was worried for a second.
I love the trailers for that movie. Zendaya. You got also Mike Feist from West Side Story. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. Did anyone see Bones and All?
No.
With Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I
but
wasn't
know
crazy
about
about it. And I love Chalamet and the one girl in it. I can't remember her name right now. But I hopefully this movie, because I really like the director Luca. I don't love a lot of his movies, but I appreciate a lot of them. Call Me by Your Name and all that. The Suspiria remake. Wasn't that into the Suspiria remake, but I probably need to watch it again. But yeah, that looks cool. So yeah.
Yeah. To end the episode, I didn't say what next week's trivia is. It's 2000 sci-fi. We will see you guys next week.
Take care, guys.
We have been the Cinema Asylum Podcast. You guys were awesome. Thanks for coming out. God, no.